think we're back out on the World Wide Web here. Let me know if you're here. If you're here in the YouTube stream, let me know where you are in this great wide world. I think right now we're all alone. Hey, Rootfire, yes, we're live. Live from the basement. Good to see y'all. So we had some typical technical difficulties. That's like happens on a show day when like everything was really chill and you had a nice sound check. You ate all the food you had to do, and then you get on stage and the power cuts out. That happened recently in Ithaca when we played at the Range. We were doing like a Country Bright Days kind of set, and we hadn't done one in a long time. Eli was there. He was back in it. He's back in it right now on the stream. But we got right on stage, and we were super psyched about how everything sounded. We played one note, and the power went out on the stage, and we had to do that thing that we've done like so many times in 20 years. We never think it's going to happen again. Well, it looks like it just happened on my first stream. I'm swimming through your borders. I'm swaying through your songs. I throw my rope into your reach. But there's too many colors. I'm patient with my time, waiting for the sunshine to come down on me. Politics lit for the sunshine to come down on me. So welcome back to the session. Thank you to Rootfire, my family, all the essential people. I'm doubting on my inside, my soul in your advice. My mission was to wake you up, but there's too many colors. I'm working on my time, waiting for the sunshine to come down on me. I'm waiting for the sunshine to come down on me. L-Dub, what up? Where are you at? Where are we hearing from you from? I'm working it in time, waiting for the sunshine to come down on me, to come down on me. Waiting for the sunshine to come down on me, to come down on me, to come down on me, to come down on me. Bring us that sunshine, L-Dub. To come down on me. Want to give a big shout out to men like Devin, one of my absolute favorite people to listen to sing and play music and to learn hard to find information from, and just wonderful people. And that's kind of like one thing that I've been reflecting about a lot, is just the whimsical nature of music and how it brought me to where I am, and how I'm grateful, and how every day I can wake up and see the sunrise, and, you know, day to day everything's normal, but at the same time it's like music had a lot to do with bringing me to where I am, and you can't even touch it, you can't see it. It's fun for people, but it's also so serious. So for me, getting to meet people like Devin and just so many people along the path. That's what I think about the most, and I really give thanks for through music. Music is a healer, and I kind of wanted to talk about that. So like playing guitar and singing, that's something that I decided a while ago is like just for me. Like it's not something that I really perform with or present. It's a very much a meditation for me. And though I've been playing guitar since I was like 10 or 11 years old, I started to play bass right after that. And bass is really like my baby. That's like my spirit animal. When I put on a bass, it's just a different connection that I have to the instrument. And it's like I can get the party going. I can be there with everybody with the bass. And glad, Johnny, that the sound is better. Thank you for sticking with us, everybody. Because again, like I'm saying, this is like a hangout that I really wanted to do. So I was just talking about how playing guitar and singing, that's like a private, soothing, like kind of medicinal thing that I've done since I was a kid. And I still do it now by myself. And whenever I present it, it's just kind of a different vibe. So this is kind of cool because I've always wanted to share it. And at the same time, like nobody's here except for y'all are right there. So this might be like the best of both worlds for me. And I wanted to talk about Sunshine, that song. What's up, STC24? Thank you guys for coming in. You guys are up in Massachusetts? Beautiful. Yeah, man. But gonna play a couple songs, but that song Sunshine, that's the first track that we recorded on our country record, which we recorded in Colorado at our buddy Joel's studio. It was the first music that was played in that studio. The cover of the Double Rainbow on the record was taken right outside the studio from Chris, the drummer, on his iPhone while we were in tracking. And Sunshine is like, those words were originally written for Sunshine Dub, which is on our first record, Slow Down. It's an instrumental track. It's like... Rachel melodica. Rachel Orkey plays beautiful melodica. What's up, Masood? Masood Akajan. Oh man, so nice to be with you here, my brother. My brother, all the way from Rochester, via Afghanistan, and good. Really looks out for my family, man. Looks out for my parents who are there when I'm all the way in Indiana. Thank you, Masood. Big up. My mission was to wake you up, but there's too many colors. I'm patient with my time. I'm waiting for the sunshine to come down on me. I'm waiting for the sunshine to come down on me. Oh, now I'm doubting on my inside. My soul in your invite. My mission was to wake you up, but there's too many colors. And now I'm working on my time. I'm waiting for the sunshine to come down on me. I'm waiting for the sunshine to come down on me. Ooh. So yeah, that's the original Sunshine song. And then Chris, he took a trip with our good friend Anselmo James down to Bogota, Colombia, and he came back and he was playing this riff all the time. He's just like, you know, and that became the new Sunshine version that has endured much longer than the original idea of like a reggae song with words. That song's about immigration, if anybody cares to know. It was written like around 2006, 2007, and you know, the lyrics. Dylan helped me write a version in Spanish that I can't remember, and I don't speak Spanish, so it's not really good for me to sing it. But yeah, that song means a lot to me, and that's why I wanted to share it here. Yeah, man. What's up, Kenneth Clark? Thank you guys for tuning in. Tim, Garth Clark is one of my most favorite songwriters in the world. He has a band called Whitewoods. He has some choruses in some very heavy Giant Panda tunes. One of them is They're Calling Up the Cops Because It Smells Like Ganja. That's a Garth Clark original. Hey, Mom. And Ryan Guay from Street Pharmacies here. Yeah, so, you know, that song Sunshine, Chris came back from Colombia and started playing that riff, and we turned it into a totally different song. And I just, you know, keep reflecting on the power of music is like a vehicle to like move you around in life. And the way that I knew that I wanted to be a musician in a band, I was 13 years old, and I traveled to Boston to see my sister. And she's a classical pianist, and I was like just kind of like barely playing guitar. And we got together with my brother-in-law Greg, his brother Chris, who was in an awesome band called Go, G-O-H. And he had like a friend that played, I don't even know, like it wasn't a normal instrument that I usually like jammed with at the time when I was 13. We all got together and we played Sympathy for the Devil by the Rolling Stones. And I was like, these people are way older than me, but I know we're connecting. My sister's here. We usually engage in like this kind of a communication. And I thought, I want to do this with people everywhere, all over the world. This is how I want to communicate. And, you know, every step of the way, that has been something that I've remembered. And it's, I think, helped me stay on the path, because it's really brought me to all the places that I've wanted to be, and introduced me to all the people that I needed to meet, which is the only reason I bring it up is because now I'm here in Indiana in my basement talking to all you on the internet during the COVID-19 lockdown. And, you know, whoever knew that we'd be here, but my life is good. My life is blessed. We're all safe. Thankfully, I hope everybody else is staying safe. And I'm going to just check out some of the comments. I'm down to talk to anybody about anything. I'm glad that it sounds better now. You know, this is so cool to be a part of like the changing life. I know it's under dire circumstances, and we're not liking these circumstances, but this presentation of communication and music to everybody remotely, that was bound to happen. And it's just wild to be a part of. Like, now here we are, we're doing this. I would have never done this probably 2 months ago, but here I am doing it. That's my well, if you can hear it. It's filling up water from the ground. But yeah, man. Well, Man Like Devin asked, how did I get into Jamaican music? And I'm going to answer that question, and I'm going to try to keep it brief because I can talk forever about this, especially. When I was 11 years old, classic North American, classic New York suburban kid, you know. I had an 11-year-old birthday. I was turning 11. It was my birthday party. I had a older friend who was kind of like dating my sister a little bit, worked for the guy that lived next door to us. And Jason, he's a good friend still. And he gave me a Bob Marley CD, Bob Marley Legend. And he was like, this is going to change your life. And he definitely, I don't think meant it, but it definitely did. And I started listening. I wore that CD out. And then I went with my best friend, Matt, with his family down to Jamaica when I was 13. I brought the CD with me. And I remember it breaking when we were down there, and I thought that was kind of a weird vibe, you know, like, oh, my reggae CD broke in Jamaica. I could feel a little bit of mystic to it, and there's definitely a mystic to music. And for me, certainly Jamaican music, there's a lot of truth and history and vibes that go along with the music. And though I didn't really know what that was, I could hear that, I could feel that and see it coming. But yeah, there was no other reggae to me but Bob Marley. That's what reggae was, even visiting Jamaica in, 1995 or whenever that was. Didn't know that there was other reggae, just knew that there was Bob Marley. I think when I realized that I needed to look more into Jamaican music specifically is I was riding around in the back of my friend's car, my friend Robbie's car, and he was listening to Israel Vibration, and I had never heard that before. And I was actually probably like 18, like freshly 18. And hey, Curtis, how you doing, buddy? And I was listening to Israel Vibration, and I was super into bass and playing, and I'd gone through all these different musical phases naturally. I was really into punk rock when I was like 11, 12 years old, and hip hop. I got super into like Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul, and I was into hardcore, like Buffalo, Syracuse hardcore scene, Rochester hardcore music scene was amazing. It was like tons of independent bands, Snapcase, Integrity. You know, there was metal bands in Rochester that were just insane, Lethargy. And then from there, I went to a Fish concert. Anyways, I'm talking about all the music I ever got into. I went and saw Fish, and that changed everything because I really wanted to improvise, and that blew my mind. And anyways, when I was listening to Israel Vibration song, I don't remember what tune it was. And as a bass player, that was like the most intrigued I had been about what music could do, how it could shape a rhythm, and how it could fill in space and leave other spaces that would like create like a whole atmosphere that you could enjoy yourself in and live in. And then I reflected as I kind of like started learning more about reggae, that I had been listening to more reggae than any other kind of music, probably since I got that Bob Marley CD, because turned out that I had bought a bunch of Bob Marley compilations with all that stuff with scratch, and that got like sent out, that, you know, every Bob Marley compilation you pick up around the world has like the same 30, 40 songs on it that are, I still listen to probably once a week. It's probably my favorite music. But then even thinking about like ska, and like every band in my high school that wasn't my hardcore band was like a ska band. And then I realized that I was listening to a lot of Sublime, and realized that reggae was kind of always, reggae and bass were kind of the things, and all the music that I loved, there was reggae and like solid bass going on. So that got me really interested in reggae. And then to finish off the story, Devin, on how I got into reggae music, I took a class. I was privileged to go to Ithaca College, where they have a professor whose name is Naeem Inayatullah. He is a really amazing person, a great teacher, very Socratic, if you will. Like, he will make you question who you are and where you're in the world. And he taught a class called The Political Economy of African Diaspora Music. And I was super into reggae, and it said that they were going to talk about reggae in the class, and I took it, and that really blew my mind up. He got Ithaca College Library to order like every reggae CD and Fela Kuti CD and, you know, all Afro-Cuban CDs. And so, man, I talked forever about it. I'm going to check out some of the comments here. And man, Kenneth Clark, Rochester is killing it with music. Shout out to Dirty Blanket and Folk Faces and Aaron Lip. I don't know if everywhere in the world is like that, like every little town. I think that it is, that in every town there is just a plethora of talented musicians, talented creative people. And if they have that bedrock, you know, like for me and for Giant Panda, it was that making original music was the thing to do in Rochester. There was always bands that were older than us that were having concerts, and they weren't cover bands. They were playing African music. They were playing reggae. They were playing, there's a crazy like noise scene in Rochester now, punk, metal, everything. And then, you know, moving to South Bend, Indiana, it's the same thing. There's not as many places to play, or like a active culture that people know about to go out and like, oh, I'm going to go here on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, see all these different live music. But I've seen some of the best musicians that I've ever met in my life in this town. And there's all this like Motown history here, and being in between Chicago and Detroit and Gary right down the way. And just speaking about like the whimsical nature of music, and if you play music and travel because of music, you're going to run into people that are doing the same thing. And it's like this antenna that brings together like-minded people that makes you kind of part of something that's bigger than you, or at least that's how it feels. It's a humbling thing, but it's also just really fun to know that A, you're in a band, B, you're in a van. A lot of people have done this before you. And then thinking back to, you know, troubadours and people that have always traveled and shared songs with people, to be a part of that is truly a privilege. I don't think it's for, I mean, I know it's not for everybody. Everybody can't do it. And maybe many are called, few are chosen, which is a famous reggae line and proverb of sorts. But I'm looping around to that. We thought in Rochester that we had the only creative scene. And we also thought that, oh, John Brown's Body is playing reggae in Ithaca. And it's like the most amazing reggae we've ever heard outside of like the Bob Marley that we listened to. And then we started playing and we wanted to get out of the city and go travel the country and share our music. And one of our first tours, we stopped in Iowa City. And in Iowa City, which, you know, we're a bunch of East Coasters, like we don't think there's anything in the middle of the, you know, we just didn't know. We were ignorant and, working off stereotypes. We met this band called Youth Orchestra from Iowa who hosted us, and they knew like everything about Afrobeat, Nigerian music, reggae. They were just like so brilliant and had such a good crew of people who were so dedicated to learning about music and just basically doing what we were doing, you know? And then we went to California and it was the same thing. And now, you know, what we didn't know that you could throw a rock in California and hit a reggae band. We thought that we were the only ones that were on this kind of, let's, you know, even though we're not from Jamaica. I thought there was a time that I thought that because I wasn't from Jamaica that I actually couldn't play reggae. Like I wasn't ever going to figure it out. And maybe we haven't figured it out totally. There's something to be said for like growing up in a place and being influenced by people in the spot that it was invented versus hearing it like kind of trickled through through records and like influences and kind of watered down versions of things. But yeah, everybody, the music is from Jamaica, but it was bigger than Jamaica. It has something to kind of teach and have a global communication with. So yeah, anyways, Rochester, everywhere, got amazing music. There's no limit to the amount of amazing musicians there can be. And big up to Justin Call, the stagecoach in Southern California, opening for Easy Star All Stars is where he saw us. And that is like, again, I've been there like 3 or 4 times and I would never have thought that I would have arrived there in my life. It's like, what is it, San Luis Obispo or and it's, for a New York kid, you know, you're like going out to a ranch and it's got like long tables. Oh, it's in SoCal. Dirty Panda show, just to let people know, from Kenneth Clark is talking about a Dirty Panda show. They invited us up on their stage. They're like a killing bluegrass band from Rochester, fast pickers, which is very different from what we do. And they invited us to one of their shows to like play a couple of our tunes. And we just had a blast. Love to do that again sometime. Yeah, thank you everybody for coming and hanging out. This is fun. I'm gonna definitely play some more music in a second. I know I'm just talking, but it's true, Devin. There are a crazy amount of reggae bands in California, and I think that that's because like reggae from the moment that it went international always had a place in California, and there was always people kind of keeping up with the current reggae culture. Whereas I would say where we were coming from, where reggae was like a throwback thing more, we were only exposed to like 70s classic roots reggae. And I'm still getting into like reggae from the 80s. Like I just the other day started listening to Prince jamming, which is wild. As I listen to Prince jamming, it's like, wow, I can't believe that I haven't been influencing myself with this for the past 25 years or 20 years. Insane. Yeah, the Sublime also, like, you know, Sublime, I feel like, I don't know if they have a great reputation for this, but to me, what I say about Sublime is that they brought us all to the dance, you know? They weren't saying this is our music or like, this is reggae, this is exactly how it is. They were so influenced themselves and also so wild just in their lifestyle that there was no ability for them to, I don't think, take credit or like come off as a reggae band. Yet they taught me so many you know, I still am listening to reggae music. I'm like, oh, Brad threw that in there. And it's not like copying and stealing necessarily. I'm sure people have that, can make that argument, but that's like a reggae, like Brad was kind of a reggae dude in that way. You know what I'm saying? You know? So I think this is wild, guys. Like, I think I want to get better at this, at being able to like connect with people, because I got into music for the communication, for the connection. When I was jamming with my sister that one day, I said, I feel like I know these people so much better than if we had sat down and gotten coffee and talked. Because I was 13 at the time, and how seriously were they going to take me? But I really felt like I knew them more. And that's what I wanted to do around the world. Like, I wanted to travel the world and make music with people to selfishly like gain more perspective for myself in this lifetime. And I think it's a really powerful tool to have these streaming networks and have musicians in their house be able to just like talk to people and play songs. And with that being said, I'm playing another song. And I really wanted to state, I wanted to say this first. When I was talking about playing guitar is like my own private thing that I do at my house alone. That being said, I hardly ever finish a song, is what I've realized. I like play a little bit of it, and then I sort of like get into one part and I pick it around for a little bit. And I guess it's kind of like practicing, but maybe it's why people like to do puzzles. Like, I don't know, I don't do puzzles. Like, if you just sit around and like tool around and stuff, I guess that's what I do with my songs. So like, to perform them, and know that there's other people watching, I have to like follow them through and finish them and remember lyrics and all that stuff. So we could talk about lyrics too. I got a cool quote up here from L Dub in Southern Florida, where the sunshine is. Love this quote: "A composer is not only an architect, but also an inventor, and he should not build houses in which he cannot live." Igor Stravinsky. That's a heavy quote, and that's true. And that reminds me of the Abe Lincoln quote. Like, if I had to chop down a tree, in 5 hours, I'd spend like 4 hours sharpening my axe. That goes well with, I guess, what I'm talking about with the guitar. Like, I don't consider myself an incredible musician or like a naturally gifted musician. I'm into the music for the communication. That's why I stick with it. Even though I'd love to be incredible and be able to like kill the drums and the keys and everything. Devin, that song reminds me that I should stop writing songs that I can't sing. That reminds me that I should practice more. But I have always felt, and this is, unique for me, the more that I practice, kind of the more psyched out I get. And my musical energy comes from being in the moment. It's not something that you can rely on, and it's not even something that you can really practice. And I wish that wasn't the case. I'm literally working daily to try to get better at not having to rely on that, because not being around my band all the time and being home, I have 2 kids and my wife. I'm pretty much the only one that's like making music on this platform. My daughter writes some awesome songs. She's got some music that she's writing behind me, but she's 5. And I have to learn how to do this by myself and learn how to like, feel it in the same way. And when you're sitting and singing by yourself at home, it's different than when you're at a show. So, yeah, man, I love you guys. This is really fun. I'm definitely going to talk about signs a little bit later. This is a tune that I just feel like is good for the time. Maybe I'll play the whole tune, maybe I won't. It's, songs are pretty basic, but also, like, I've learned so many songs, and how many can I remember? Almost none. Whenever I pick up the guitar, I'm like, I don't even think I know any songs. Living today, we're living the future. Moments away, providing right now. slip out that way. Hey, and your past in your future. Trip out that way. Hey, I'm knowing you now. Matt Craig down in Brazil. Love you, brother. Want to visit you. So just take some time to appreciate. It takes some time to depreciate. Take some time to appreciate right now. We live in the future. Right now. We live in the future. Yeah. Passing away. A thing of the future. Knowing that day we're watching it now. Slip out that way. Hey, my brother Greg. And your past in your future. Trip out that way. Hey, I'm getting through now. So just take some time to appreciate. It takes some time to depreciate. Take some time to appreciate right now. We live in the future. Right now. Oh, I'm saying living in the future. Yeah. Right now. Yeah. That song is called Future. And it's about where we're at right now. I can't believe that we're doing this and that our lives are this way. And I just have to submit and accept it. And that's a big thing that music has taught me. And it's something that being on the road has taught me. And I'm literally working on it every day. I remember when I graduated school, which I did thanks to my parents, people asked me what I was going to do. And I said, I'm going to study the ancient art of patience, because I knew that I would never complete that. I could always say that. So still doing it, bros. Yeah. Well, thank y'all for hanging out. I was gonna also just I was gonna say something about that song or about playing guitar. But I wrote that song a really long time ago, and I think about, there's a lyric in it. This is just like passing away, a thing of the future. You know, like death is a thing of the future, but you're always thinking about it. And you're in the fourth dimension. You're watching it. You know, your life is like a painting, and that's what I'm thinking about when I sing that song, right? But You know, when I play, I think of a lot. My brain takes me to a bunch of different places. I can't tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I think I'm gonna see. I'm gonna take you to another song. Also, one of my favorite things to do musically is remixes. Like if I write a song and then somebody else takes that song and makes it a new song, that song just like multiplied its value of soul or heart or whatever you want to call it. Robin Hood, who's my brother, his name's Robin Hood. We've made music together for a really long time. He has a sick remix of Future. It's definitely on SoundCloud. I'm pretty sure on our page. And also Righteous Dub did a really nice sweet mix of that song. It's not on an album. We recorded it a long time ago. What up, A.T. Schroeder? One of my best people in the building. Thanks for the love, man. Love all y'all folks. William Money. Thank you so much for enjoying me to sing. It's something that I've always done, only because people have told me that they like it when I do it. It goes a long way back. Like I've always been a performer since I was like 5 years old. I've been in theater and I've always sang. I've always just felt music, but that doesn't mean that I'm like necessarily good at it. So I do what I do and I love what I do, and I do it because people enjoy it and it seems to make them happy. So when you tell me that, it's not like I need my ego to be like pumped up or anything, but just like it's a confirmation. Okay, like people want this, you're doing it. So I appreciate that, man. I like singing. Singing makes me feel good personally, which is why I usually try to do it more by myself. It's kind of again, like playing songs at home by yourself that you've written, like you get bored after a while, you start creating versions. I love James Brown. One thing that he said was they were like talking about the song I Feel Good, and he was like, oh, I'm not done with that song yet. And it was like in the late 80s when he gave that quote. He said, I've made that song like 15 or 16 times and it's still not right. And I so feel that. And I love that about music. I love versions. I love songs. I love the how a song never changes, but it always changes every time. It's like captures time and captures like a moment in your life or many moments, and then it gets replayed and replayed and replayed all the way out through the future. It's my favorite art form. I love appreciating it. So this one, let's see if I got my hot version. Breathing and you're trying to blow down the door, take a lead in, beg no pardon. Yeah, Kenneth, just go and see what it's for. Yeah, well, I guess we're gonna have to be that change. Oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to be that change. Oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to see this change. Oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to be that change. Take a reading, get believing. Oh, about the wolf at your door. It's the reason. Sink your teeth in, yeah. Just go and see what it's for. Oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to be that change. Oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to be that change. Oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to see this change. Oh, I guess we're gonna have to be that change. Well, I see you dreaming and you're dying. So come and open the door, take a lead in, break your heart in. Just go and see what it's for. Well, I guess we're gonna have to be that change. Well, I guess we're gonna have to be that change. Oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to see this change. Oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to be that change. Yeah. So again, that's like a version, and you got a little taste of like maybe how James plays by himself, because usually it's just like really quiet, people are sleeping, and I've always wanted to sing quieter. I scream and I shout when I play because I'm with Giant Panda on stage, because I'm playing the bass and I'm trying to sing and play the bass, and like I'll always say, like half my singing and half my bass playing skills go down the drain when you sing and play the bass, and that's what I'm willing to do. What are y'all drinking on? It's Sunday night. It's quarantine. So there's a lot of options. Everybody's in a different situation here. And that's kind of always pretty interesting. Like me, I'm drinking this Pu'er tea that I got in Brooklyn in like 2013, been sitting around. This mug was given to me by a great friend, James, who met us in Denver and made these mugs for all of us, including Reed. So big thanks to Reed Foster of Rootfire for putting this together and making this possible. He helped set it up. He helped walk us through the trials and the tribulations. And here we are, 31 plus strong, getting down on Sunday night. I'm drinking this nice Pu'er tea from 2013. I learned about Pu'er tea from Chris Bargy. It was his birthday the other day. Happy birthday, Bargy. He's the sound engineer for Sturgill Simpson. Maybe you heard of him. Bargy used to be our sound engineer also. And until people like Sturgill needed him. And that's cool. That's cool. But, you know, Bargy was like, yeah, you know, the guys from Lettuce, Adam Deitch, who's one of my favorite drummers, he's like, they drink this stuff, Pu'er tea. It's this like red tea from China. And it helps you. It's really caffeinated, but also brings you a lot of focus. Great recommendation. Been drinking it ever since. Pu'er tea, the vibes. There's the well. The water's in the well, baby. Give thanks for that. Always got to have some. So someone asked if I would play some Nirvana. That's such a good question, and I wish I would, and maybe I will in a little bit if I remember it. I've learned so many Nirvana songs in my life, and like when I think about what's the Nirvana song that I know really well, one of my favorite Nirvana songs to play is "Oh Me," which I think is even a Meat Puppet song. It's on the Unplugged album, and when that Unplugged session of Nirvana happened, I immediately went to this place called Soundgarden in Geneseo, New York, and I bought the bootleg because they had bootleg CDs back then. They were like $25, and this was from Japan, and it had MTV Nirvana Unplugged, but it didn't have those two songs. It didn't have "Oh Me," and it didn't have another awesome song. And then they came out with like the official one that everybody here has with the cover of them being unplugged, and it has all those great songs on it. So wish I could find that old bootleg somewhere. Yeah, this is a live show, Kenneth Clark. That's right. Fire it up, man. We got a lot of things smoking around here. This Palo Santo. I'm a big incense, burning of woods and resins kind of a guy. I think, again, with the mysticism of music, a guy named Tafari in Jamaica told me that you have to bring the things that the entertainment spirits like to the show. So that's like incense, tobacco, ganja, liquor. You know, that's why you like pour some libations on the ground. I did all that, of course, before we had this live session. You gotta invite the entertainment spirits, and I do believe in that. I do believe that music is a channel. I don't think it'll ever be proved. There's so many things about music. There's some sage here from Dave Burness, rest in peace. He gave me a bunch of sage that's from California that I still keep for special occasions. You know what I'm saying? Man Like Devin's drinking a golden milk porter from the Santa Monica Brewery, local. Love it, man. So yeah, we're burning resins in here. We're burning sage. We're burning Palo Santo. I think I'm saying that wrong, but my head's all jumbled. And I also really like this Tibetan incense. So like the three of those, get it going on. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about the songwriting and why I think songwriting is one of the best art forms ever to be found by the human species, if you will. I'll try to break it down really quick. So with a song, it's always like a folk song or like a song, a very simple song, like A section, B section, verse, chorus. They very rarely like change form massively. It's not like looking at like, you know, a big giant church and then going to a house. They're not the same kind of places, but that analogy didn't work. And I don't want this to get long-winded. Songs can be very simple, but have profoundly different experience, create a profoundly different experience for everyone that listens to it. And what the artist is thinking about or feeling and their inspiration to create the song is almost always going to be different than like how the listener interprets what that song is about or how it makes them feel or the experience that they have listening to them, which turns it into their favorite song that they listen to thousands of times. And as a song ages and kind of is around for a longer period of time and the more people hear it, it's like full of all these experiences and all these interpretations. And I call that gaining spiritual mass. So like it gains mass, but it doesn't grow. It doesn't change. Like I'm trying to think of, you know, Trenchtown Rock means a certain thing to Lee Perry and Bob Marley talking about the Trenchtown experience, you know? And for me, it's like my favorite song that I've ever heard. I had no idea what they were even talking about for the first 20 years that I listened to that song. And I remember thinking about this a lot when I went to a Phil and Friends, Phil Lesh, bass player of the Grateful Dead. He was playing at Bonnaroo, and they were playing the song Sugary, very famous Grateful Dead song, Jerry Garcia song, actually, from his first solo record. Then the Grateful Dead played it a bunch. And there are all these musicians on stage playing it who had heard the song in all these different contexts, and all these people in the crowd who were just loving it. You could almost like, it sounds like trippy hippiness, but you could almost feel and see it is an energy field, L-Dub. That's the only word that I could use for it. You can feel that the spiritual mass of the song is massive. It's a massive mass. Those songs like Sugary and Redemption Song. I mean, so that's the power of music, and that's why it's my favorite art form, and that's why I aspire to be a songwriter. I wish I could put more time into it. So, but I feel like there's, you know, things that people tell you about how to go about songwriting or how to go about being a productive, creative person. And I want those to work for me. And just unfortunately, they don't work as much as the way that I want them to. If you sit down and try to write every day, put down every idea that comes into your head, hopefully you will get better as a songwriter, kind of like writing down your dreams. They'll just be more clear. But for me, maybe what happens is like I write a lot of things down, I record a lot of things, and maybe it's just like filtering through the inspirations that are coming into my head. But a lot of times, most of that stuff doesn't turn into anything, even though it's very important to me. I go back and I listen to these recordings from like 15 years ago. I'm like, that moment and that song, that really means everything to me. Why did I write Wolf at the Door during that time? And I remember writing Wolf at the Door, and that I didn't really think it was a great song. Not all songs are great. Not all songs that, you know, an artist I'm speaking for myself. Like all the songs that I write, they're not all great, but sometimes they're just a song, and you end up feeling like it needs to be played, and then it becomes part of your body of work, where that other thing that you didn't work on that was so important didn't. So it's kind of like a whimsical thing as a songwriter, and I call it excavating songs. You're excavating. I talked to Matt O'Brien, my former bandmate, and one of my favorite songwriters ever, about this, because Matt has like a very keen ability to excavate a song. He like catches it in the air and like delivers it. And Kenneth Clark, yeah, Mac Miller, man, it's almost hard to listen to Mac Miller because of how, you know, lucid and clear he seemed to be about like who he was and where his place was at that very moment. And will everybody in the world hear Mac Miller and what he had to say? Definitely not. Some people, it'll be the only thing they listen to for years and years. And that's why I'm saying about like, this is it's so mystical. There's a natural mystic with music, but what's the significance of it? I don't know. I never will know. And I'm trying to accept that more and more every day. And I just give thanks that it introduces me to people like y'all. It lets me hear the mind of Mac Miller, especially like after he's passed, that these people that have died are still with us with music. That is another big reason why I'm interested in being a musician and being a songwriter. I want a legacy. I want to be there when I'm not there. It means a lot. Even touring, people will say, oh, you know, this song really helped me out through this period of my life. And when I'm thinking about like what I would have had to do as a person to actually go there and be there for them in their room where they were dealing with like withdrawal or a parent dying or a child, you know, just all these tragedies that we have in our lives. There's always going to be tragedy. Of course I can't physically be there, and all these musicians can't physically be there, and you don't want them to be there. You want their music. It's a lot of my most favorite musicians that I've ever met. I always have to remember when I'm meeting them that this is not the music. You're meeting the person that wrote the music. They're not going to necessarily have the same effect on you that the music does, and it shouldn't. And that's mystical, magical element. So I'm talking a lot. I should probably chill and play some music. Kenneth, yes, exactly. Brutally honest lyrics and emotions. Feel it with all genres. Thank you guys for talking. I love talking about this. I can talk forever about this stuff, and sometimes my wife will be lying in bed and she'll be like, James, talk about bass, talk about fish. Because she knows that I'll just start talking and she'll fall asleep within like 3 minutes because it's really boring unless you're really interested in it. A couple of nights ago, I put on this YouTube, like the history of the P-bass, kind of like mandatory viewing. I'm like, you need to watch this. You need to know about this. And I could just see it in her face. She's like, are you really doing this to me right now? You really? I don't need to know about this. And for me, bass and the invention of the machine, the P-bass, the amount of influence that it's had over the world, over my life, bringing me here to meet my wife, to be with my family, that's because of the P-bass. That's a lot because of the bass and like how it motivated me. So to me, I'm like, yeah, you got to know everything about the P-bass. You got to know, the famous bass line. And here I am, like, I don't really know that stuff, but glad there's a YouTube video about it. Man, love all you guys. Could I see myself ever releasing any of those unreleased tracks? Trent Reznor says that he finished every idea he's ever had. And that is really inspiring because I want to. And every night, man, I sit at my computer and I go back to like voice memos from 2005. And I'm like, yep, that was a tune. That's a tune. I still like that song. I have it in my heart. Is it ever going to turn into something? Why hasn't it already turned into something? That's the mystery of productivity and life, even when you feel like you're doing it right, Screwface knows who feel frightened, yeah. A duppy know who feel frightened. They say, coward man, he gonna pick some stones. And oh, lightning man, he gonna weep and moan. He who exalted him say, yeah, don't feel no pain. Trust in the words our children say, we don't dread no pain. Where do we go now? Do we Rivers of ungodly water will fear no foe. Wherever I go, not even this pestilence that just in my life, it won't ever do me no harm, just can't do me no harm. I tell you I love you, I tell you again, Screwface knows who feels frightened. Who sings this song? The Pino, who feel frightened, yeah. They say, coward man, he gonna pick some stone. And oh, lighting man, he's gonna weep and moan. He who exalted him say, yeah, I'll never feel them pain. Just in the words our children say, yeah, we never dread Screwface. Where do we go now? To the rivers of ungodly water, we'll fear no foe. Wherever I go, not even this pestilence that's John in my life won't ever do me no harm, just can't do me no harm. I tell you I love you, I tell you again, Screwface knows who feels frightened. The Pino. So yeah, like, you know, I played that song a million times, but that doesn't mean I know how to play it. I always forget. But that song's called Screwface. And yes, it's Bob Marley and the Wailers. And you know, Matt O'Brien played that song in the first time we ever went to the studio in 2004, and it's amazing. I will try to dig it up sometime and share it with people. But Panda, you know, Panda has been around for like almost 20 years. It's crazy, dude. It's so crazy, and it feels like we want it to like grow into an institution, and we still feel like we just started. We still feel like there's like a lot of life ahead into being the big vision, the giant vision that we had. And at the same time, you have to, you know, be grateful for the road that we've been down. And we've been down quite a road. We've been very blessed and very fortunate. And we've played with a lot of amazing players. I want to shout out Matt O'Brien, who's my brother, Chris's brother, who we started the group with. And again, incredible songwriter. He's got a project now called Flying Object, Matt O'Brien's Flying Object. Bummed the show in Boston got canceled, but it's for the better. I was supposed to be on drums for Joe. James, how did the OG Panda lineup form and come about? Well, STC L24, I am so bummed that we are not Raging New England right now, which has been the plan for months. And I believe we've played Boston 420 weekend for the past 5 years in a row. So it's surreal not to be there. And it's also surreal that it's been a month of quarantine. Thinking about if this show was going to happen feels like yesterday. I'm sure everybody's feeling that in their own way. I definitely want to talk about the Panda story, which I can, again, talk about endlessly because of the mysticism and just like how funny it's been. Life is a funny thing, isn't it? Well, I grew up in Rochester, New York, and I met Matt O'Brien when I was 9, when I started going to public school. He was in the classroom next door to me, and we hung out off and on through middle school, and he had a little brother, Chris, who was like 2 years younger. And I feel like, you know, they had one of the first drum sets I had ever seen in my life. My family had a lot of music going on, but it was more like classical My sister's an incredible piano player. My other sister played clarinet and sang and was in plays. No drum set in the house. We didn't have that. Whereas in my house now we have like 3, which is awesome. And yeah, Matt and I were both really into grunge. And so were all of our friends. And that's when I kind of, 11 years old, started being like, I don't know what I want to, I don't know how to do anything in a band, but I want to be in a band because it seems like the best way to like have fun with your friends. These guys have drum sets in their basement, go over to their house and, you know, write songs. And it felt really good to be around that. And, you know, Matt and Chris and I started playing music, kind of, we're living in a musical community, and writing grunge songs and having grunge bands. And they were in a band called Veronica's Hate, which is still like one of the greatest names, from the Archie Jughead, you know, Veronica's Hate. And enter Dylan. When in about the early 90s, when I was in 6th and 7th grade, behind our middle school, there was this Sitco station. And I'm bringing it up because I now know like probably 6 or 7 people who worked there during this time. It's kind of turned into lore in Rochester. A lot of amazing musicians had jobs there. And Dylan was one of them. And we would go walk after school kind of near the gas station because there was a parking lot where you could hang out. And Dylan was always working there. And when you're 12 and somebody else is like 21, they, you know, you think, I figured Dylan was like 40, but he wasn't. And he was always playing guitar and just being really respectful to us. And I end up telling the story kind of a lot, I guess, but I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember I told Dylan that I was interested in playing guitar. And he was like, hey, man, that's great. I'll come by your house. And here's my phone number. I'll give you lessons for $5 an hour. And when I was 12, I was like, well, that's pretty cool. And I had his number pinned on my wall when I was a kid. And just to like, as a teacher, like as someone who plays music and, you know, offers to teach lessons, and I know like what the going rate is, $5 an hour to come to your house. That was some genuine like, hey man, hey kid, I want to teach you about guitar. That's like Dylan's nature. He's very generous and just, you know, always a good influence. So again, there could have been a creep working at that gas station, and we were lucky that it was Dylan. And he was playing in bands around town that were playing reggae, African music, original music. And he was kind of like he was kind of a hero to us. And, you know, Matt and Chris and I kept playing music, got into grunge, got into funk, got into hardcore, as I was saying before, got into Fish. And straight up, this is what happened to me. I was in another band. There was a bunch of drama that went on with like, you know, girlfriends and typical high school stuff. And I got kicked out of the band that we were in. And I went to apply for a job at another gas station, which was my friend Will. My friend Will McKenna was working there. And he was like, hey, I'm going to get you a job. And I also play in a band. You should come see my band. I was like, oh, you play in a band? I'm a musician. You know, I'm a bass player. He's like, really? Hey, Lil, let me get your number. A month later, I'm in my parents' house playing drums. And my mom's like, hey, Will's on the phone. I'm like, Will who? She's like, from the gas station. I'm like, okay, I'll call him back. And I called him back. And he was like, I couldn't get you a job, but I want you to try out for my band. We need a bass player. And so I went over to his house. And it was him and this other guy. And I thought I was showing up to like a full band. I would be the only, you know, odd man out. But it was just me and a keyboard player and Will on guitar. The keyboard player was this guy named Matt Goodwin. And we hit it off right away. We were playing in a band. I joined their band, which was called Mountain Mojo Authority. And we played like jam band stuff, progressive, like, you know, prog rock stuff. And then I don't know what happened first. I was definitely writing some reggae songs and inspired by reggae, but a very specific thing happened. We went to what's called Dandelion Day, which is like basically the spring fest of the University of Rochester. We went there and the Wailers were playing. And it was Drummy Zeb on the drums and Family Man on the bass. And I remember the first note that they started playing, it was Natural Mystic, and I was in line getting a hot dog, and I started grooving to the one drop. And I'm like, I know this song. And then they played another song, and I knew that song. I knew every song that they played. And that's kind of what I'm talking about at this time in my life. I realized, wow, you know, so much of the music I've listened to and these songs were by Bob Marley. And really the melody is like the bass. Like, I'm a bass player. That bass is killing. It's Family Man. I didn't know his name back then. And I was just like, I was changed. My drummer and I, whose name was Matt Goodwin, who's an incredible professional drummer, goes all around the world playing drums now. Jazz music mostly, I think. But we like watched Drum Zeb, and we were like, oh my goodness, never seen anybody play drums like that. Is that how you play that beat? Is that what that's about? And we went back to his house and we picked it apart, like just based on what we saw. And I wrote my first reggae song that day. It was called John Dubs. And I remember playing a show, and Matt O'Brien and I had kind of made up from him kicking me out of his band, and we were getting back into music together. And he came to a show and we recorded it, and he was like, yo, what was that reggae song? And I was like, oh, it's the song I wrote, John Dubs. And we had a recording of him, and we kept going back and listening to it together at Will's house. And then, you know, throughout like the next couple of months, I think Matt and I started hanging out a lot more, and he was writing these incredible songs that he writes, and he was playing he was writing reggae tunes, and we started writing reggae tunes together. He was living in this really wild apartment that I will mention no more about that. Fun times, dark times, but we would jam up there, and we would jam reggae, and that's where we started being called the Bomb Squad, because it was the bomb crew of the bomb musicians. It was early 2000s, and everything was the bomb. And we were the Bomb Squad. And Goodwin came over to try playing, and that was a solid connection, I remember. And then Dylan, our guitar hero from childhood, came over to the apartment and jammed with us. And I remember that was the first time that I was like, we have arrived. Dylan is here playing music with us. And, you know, we're playing reggae and we're writing songs. And that was really the beginning of like when we were like, we're going to do this band and write reggae songs because we're inspired by this groove and the things that we're learning about life from this groove and from this music, things that we're learning about history, about social justice, you know, everything. It was like reggae seemed like a really good place to be sinking, to be diving into. There's so much more to the story of like how many members have come in, but now I'm just like talking forever. But that's how the initial lineup like got set up. And again, as far as someone who like, I'm not down on myself. I'm just saying that like I've only done music because other people have been like, hey, that was really good. I really enjoyed that. That made me feel good. I want to see it again. I remember that I was kind of shy to bring my band to play in Ithaca, where I had started going to college. And we played at a party, not at Ramon, but we started playing at my friend Peter Marcus's house after that pretty regularly. But we played at this house party, and I remember this older hippie girl who was like pretty tough. Her name was Jill Skoda. She was like, James, you guys are really good. You should play here more often. What are you doing? And I was like, oh, really? You thought that was good? And she was like, yeah, you should book a show here. And that's what I did. And I booked a show, and then we started playing forever. You know what, Eric Adams, you're asking me to play the first song. If you're talking about that song, John Dubs, like I don't even remember that song. But it had a chorus that said, it's a matter of getting down from here. And I know it's impossible to live without fear. It was like, drugs, TV, why do we live in such captivity? So it's free. So drop your habits and come rush out with me. We're gonna rock this house party. Yeah. Oh my God, I remember this. We're getting high tonight for free. And hit me with your soul. Soul. Yeah. Hit me with your soul. Soul. if you don't want to see no shit go down, that's it. You better get your ugly face out of this town, because it's a matter of getting down from here. And I know it's impossible to live here with fear. Oh. Anyways, that's John Dubs. That's like the original, but like what I was about to go into because is that Matt wrote an incredible tune based on that tune. And it was called Figurehead, because we were having some deep conversations about the structural makeup of the United States of America. This was post 9/11. There's a lot going on. We were young men calling and fighting with right-wing radio talk show hosts, Bob Lonsberry. And he wrote, if I get scared, you will know. You won't know though, because I am not scared. Oh, if I get scared, you will know. You won't know. Oh, because I am not scared. This is imperfection. It's just what we know. Get your ugly figurehead down from below. It's a matter of getting down from here. And I know it's impossible to live here in fear. Oh, if I get scared. Anyways, man, that song crushes. It's called Figurehead. I will find an old recording of it and put it out there in the world someday. Also, incredible remix of that song from an artist out of Buffalo who's our homie from growing up, Seamus Hawk. Has a killer version on his first album. I know, Adam, you're like, I don't even remember the song, but straight up, I don't remember that song. I wrote that song in the bathroom of the West Tower at Ithaca College. That's like, I remember drugs, TV, why do we live in such captivity being the line. Wasn't talking about myself, but Watson sending love your way. Mr. John Watson, Tracy, the family. John is a good friend. John and Robert, who I talked about both earlier. I talked about Robert earlier in the night on the first failed stream. Robert is an incredible chef. Anyways, John and Robert are two people that we met because we're in a band and we traveled around, and they've become like some of our best friends. Their families are people that we know. They always took us in and let us stay with them. You know, they were just, John would always come to the shows with like the sickest, before you could get live concerts and live reggae everywhere or music, he would come with crucial burned, like 1981 Burning Spear, the Gladiators in Holland in 1981, pivotal Lucky Dubé live, like that we would listen to in the van. And that really, I mean, massively enhanced our reggae education at the time that we met him in like 2006. So John, I love you. Thank you for all of everything that you've done. Not to mention that he's also like a award-winning, like gold medal several times over beer brewer. And I still don't really like beer very much, though I drink it more often in my life than I used to. But John is the first person who gave me a beer that I was like, oh, this is why people love this stuff. This is incredible. Love you, John. Hope we can enjoy a pint sometime or more in the near future. Dirty Blanket Squad. Yo, guys in Dirty Blanket, if you get the chance, go check out Dirty Blanket, because they are shredders, and they also have really great tunes and just have a great vibe in general. So much good music out there. I wanted to ask some questions. I have some questions that I wrote down, but I wanted to I was going to talk about like all the people that have been in Panda, because it's been so many people. And I don't know why I thought of saying it right there, but I'm going to play maybe another tune. You know what I'm going to do? This one's going out to the homies. And I was looking for a way to spread my wings. Let me try that again. This one is going out to the homies. I never do this, but I played the song a lot when it came out. And I was looking for a way to spread my wings. And I was looking to soothe my soul. And I was looking for a way to escape material things. I was looking to lose control. And music, it was there for me. You know, my brothers, they were there for me. And this is what they said. Said you gotta run fast, make the moment last. Always keep it humble, even when the feeling pass. When you hear the thunder rumble and your foot is on the gas, take a second to be grateful, look up in the sky and ask for a lesson. Yes, this life is such a blessing. If I'm guessing, look around and see that you are blessed too. We come together to see light in any weather. We're forever, we have come for your rescue. And I was looking for a way to conquer dreams. I was looking for one a day. And I was looking for a way to sew up some open seams. And I was looking to run away. And my family was there for me. All my friends, they were all there for me. And this is what they said. Said you gotta run fast, make the moment last. Always keep it humble, even when the feeling pass. And you hear the thunder rumble and your foot is on the gas. Take a second to be grateful, look up in the sky and ask for a lesson. This life is such a blessing. If I'm guessing, look around and see you are blessed too. We come together to see light in any weather. But forever we have come for your rescue. We have come for your rescue. We're all looking for a way to release some pain. We're all looking for some company. We're all looking for someone to scream our name. We are looking for someone to be. And music, it was there for me. You know, my brothers, they were there for me. And this is what they said. Said you gotta move fast, make the moment last. Always keep it humble, even when the feeling pass. When you hear the thunder rumble and the foot is on the gas, take a second to be grateful, look up in the sky and ask for a blessing. Yes, this life is such a blessing. If I'm guessing, look around and see that you are blessed too. We come together to see light in any weather. With forever we are come for your rescue. We have come for your rescue. We have come for your rescue. We have come for your rescue. Yeah, man, that song is by The Movement. And The Movement are some friends that we have known because of music since like 2008 or 9. And when you have friends, our friends that we make through music that have become like lifelong friends, it's strange because you don't see each other a lot and you don't even have that many opportunities to like hang out and get deep. But Josh and the guys in The Movement is a band that we've kind of been able to do that with over the years. And we've all been through a lot of changes in our groups. And we're both from the East Coast. And I think there's some like understanding there, like just about like the music that we grew up into. And Josh is one of those guys that like man, I can't believe you write those songs. Not because of anything, not because of like I didn't think he could do it, but like these songs are incredible. That song really makes me feel better. And I remember when it came out, because you know what, music has been there for me. And whatever your situation is, my life is good. Life has been good to me. And that being said, like there's still always, you know, a little bit of darkness. And I don't think it matters where you're coming from. I mean, anybody can have darkness no matter where they're coming from. And I say that like music is a peace builder because it's something that you can be a part of that will get you through that dark time. Songwriting for me has always been a way, like if I can pick up a guitar in hand, if I'm lonely or if I'm going through like depression or anything like that, you know, music has been there for me just to get past the time. I recommend to anybody to learn how to play guitar or sing, look up YouTube videos. You don't have to be good. Something about holding a guitar and playing a G chord to like an E minor is just like, it's very soothing for me. I know some people go running and do like Tough Mudders and stuff to get out their stress, but Jay Smiles, I love you so much, bro. That's the bass player for the movement. I just busted that one out, man. I love that tune. I love you guys. I'm so proud of you guys because I know when that song was written, that was like a brand new beginning for y'all. You guys met up in Charlottesville, and the movement went into a studio with Danny Calb, who also recorded Make It Better, and who recently lent me a mic when I never thought I would have a microphone. And just great people. So again, whatever you're struggling with, it's important to have those songs. And I'm grateful to be somebody who knows that about myself, that I can have that, but I want other people to have that too. And yeah, ultimate guitar tabs, like we're living in a time where you can teach yourself pretty much anything, but music is one of the easier things that you can probably be involved with, rather than, if anybody asks me for lessons, unfortunately for the music teachers out there, I always kind of say, you know, you should first check out YouTube, because you can't rewind me or like play me back 30 times. And like, that's what you really need to do to have the materials. At the same time, I can't remember any lyrics or any song that I ever learned because I've outsourced all of my data to the internet. That's what we've all done. Like, how we have it all at our fingertips, but like, can I remember it? I used to have a really good memory. And if I really work at it, I can remember songs, but I've learned so many songs in my life and played them many times, and I can't remember a lot of them. That's just how it is for me. But yeah, movement. Let me see if I have anything. You want me to talk about the new guy, Kenneth? Kenneth Clark, the new guy in our band, like his name is Eli Flynn. No. I feel like I can't talk about Eli unless I talk about everybody else, because like for me, it makes sense in my head why Eli has been part of the band the whole time in like that fourth dimensional way. Like for anybody that's ever been in Panda, I haven't made the decision for them to be a part of the band or not be a part of the band, but I always have kind of had a feeling about people, and like almost like, I think we're going to have the future together, but I don't know what it's going to be. And Eli always has been that way. I was going to ask you a question, like if anybody can name like everybody that's ever been in Panda. And to me, like, it's still in Panda. Like I once you were there, your influence is there and it's never really gone, even though like I would love to have like more people up on stage more often. If we get back, whenever we do get back to the stage. But yeah, I was going to ask if everybody could name them, but I know nobody can. But like I said, it started out with me, Matt O'Brien, Chris O'Brien, Dylan Savage, and Matt Goodwin. But like right away we went on the road, and our buddy Miguel drove us to Boston to play one of our first gigs there. And he played in the band and kind of was there for a little bit. It wasn't like official member, but my good friend Aaron Heisen played guitar in the band. Brandon Meyer played guitar in the band. Scribe, Grant Atkins, MC Scribe, who is putting out incredible music right now. You should go to his page, Scribe to God. Check it out. Hip hop, upstate New York, Rochester hip hop, 585 represent. He's still a part of the band, you know, and he was in the band playing percussion, doing vocals, you know, for a long time. And Buddy Honeycutt who lives in Tennessee, came and joined, was with us for several years, just, really innovating like what the band could sound like and who it could be. And that was honestly like one of my favorite periods of the group. And Aaron Lip, or Rachel Orkey, was in the band even before that. And right when we switched from doing Weekly at Tonic to somewhere else, Rachel was on the keys for many years and was the first person to play melodica in the group. Aaron Lip shortly joined after that, and we had 2 keyboardists for quite a while. We had Hammond organ, clavinet, Fender Rhodes, melodica. Dan Keller came shortly, after Matt and Rachel left the group. Dan Keller came in, and actually for a while it was just me, Aaron, Dylan, and Chris. And like that was so nerve-wracking to be just 4 people on stage after being used to being with like I remember we played at the Lion's Den in Manhattan once with like 11 or 12 people on stage. And then a couple months later, it was 4 of us. And that was really scary. And now when I go back and listen to that stuff, it's awesome. Like it was really cool. We were really digging in. We all knew each other so well, and we were really putting in the work. I'm so grateful to all those folks. To Aaron, Aaron was super young when he was with us, and he's just a monster of a musician to be able to spend time with. Hey, what's up, Jared? Jared was there. At the State College. We used to go down to State College and rage in this little bar called Zeno's. One time we did it 3 times a week, three times in 1 week. Just incredible basement shows. There's nothing that can match that energy, like low ceilings, low lights, loud bass. That's where I want to be, That's where I like to be. Hey, it's good to see you, Jared. Thanks for coming in. Full lineup was great. And then so after Dan Keller, and then Aaron left the band. And this was how we knew we have something special, is that you lose a player like Aaron. I mean, every player that we lost was irreplaceable, straight up. The music changed every time. And it was always positive changes, but it didn't feel positive at the time because it's scary to change. And it's scary to grow with new people that you don't already know, and have your sound become part of their sound. Even if you're not thinking of it like that, I know that now looking back, that was like scary. So right when Aaron left, and we're like, well, guys, it's going to be hard to find somebody who can play the keyboards as well as Aaron left. Tony Colicchio called us like 3 days later and was like, I heard you guys are looking for a keyboard player. And that's when you're just like, man, the universe, something lets us know we're on the right track, because Tony is an ace. And Tony is just like, there's things that Tony has in him that just can't be taught. Same with Aaron. They're both 2 very different guys, both crazy talented. And just the fact that we could have somebody that talented come join up with us and not miss a beat right after Aaron was just, again, grateful to. I'm not like that. I'm not one of those musicians. So it's been really an incredible ride to just like be around people like that know how to play and can channel these vibrations out of speakers into something that inspires me and inspires other people. I was also kind of wanted to talk about being a songwriter and being a musician, and if sometimes people are like, oh, what's some advice? And I don't have advice because I'm still learning, but like, I know that I'm trying to make music for me, and I'm trying to sing for me and like inspire myself, because I feel like if you do that, it works for other people, rather than like, I need to write a song that everybody's going to like, or like, how can I make this the next pop hit? Even though I want to do that because you want your music to hit as many people as possible, but that's just, I know that I can't work with that. I can't work in that direction. So yeah, this is a super old tune, and DeBest up in here. DeBest is one of the most fantastic bands in the land. Incredible songwriting, live performance, everything about them. Those guys are so good. We just went on tour with them out in California, Arizona Roots. Man, so blessed to know folks like this. And again, this is all through music, and it's not like we weren't playing we weren't playing grindcore, man. We were playing reggae inspired music. A lot of times we call ourselves a reggae band. People call us a reggae band. I more have to say it's reggae inspired. We definitely work hard to keep to the aesthetic of like why reggae is so powerful, while also being ourselves. And that's a fine line, because sometimes like I'm a wild dude, and when I play music, I like to jump around. I don't like to, I just do. I just move a lot, and I sweat a lot, and I'm like kind of tense, and like, man, reggae bass playing, that's not how you do it. And I know that because I see reggae bass players play, and I just got to be comfortable that I do what I do, and I'm feeling it, and it's natural and it's real, and that's just like that's what keeps me doing it. I can't be somebody that I'm not, and but I try to. I don't try to be someone that I'm not, but I try to rein myself in as much as I can out of respect for reggae, out of respect for the reggae aesthetic and the reggae, the reggae direction. And it's humbling to be around people that I consider like real solid reggae bass players. Much respect to all the chickies. Zoya Chickies from Expanders is also like, man, the lines that dude writes. All those guys, all those West Coasties, man. But the best. We rise about we don't know no better. The good life gives, and all I know is my man was freezing for some reason. Yeah, it wasn't even a season. But now I'm scheming my mind to believe that, breathe that, and that my soul won't be left here freezing. Yeah, like my rock steady soul, it's like a soul I don't know much about. But to live here in self-doubt is to subscribe to the fallout of my generation. This song is very, very old. We revamped it recently because of the, songs never really get. Oh, I never trust the thing that I saw, but this one left me lost forever. It felt like we was breaking the law as our souls cried out together. Stop fighting. I know the campaign's inviting, yeah, but listen up, who's igniting this fire? We're fighting. Who's igniting this fire? We're fighting. Whoa, 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 whoa. So that, it just repeats that verse. So that's all I'm going to do of Stop Fighting. But yeah, that song's a heavy one because that is about another thing that actually inspired the band beyond like loving reggae music is that it was, I mentioned this in the Stop Fighting music video that we made, but we were 17, 18 years old trying to figure out what we were going to do with our lives. And it's 2001 and we're in that crazy apartment that Matt was living in, writing reggae songs, and Matt and Chris's dad passed away. And it was sudden, and that was, the first one of our parents, like close parents to pass. And it was super sad. And later that summer, like one of our best people, Brendan Boyd, he actually took his own life. So it started to be, I know we're in a tough situation right now and that it's good to stay positive and be happy, but like, I'm just being real with y'all and talking about the real situation of where we're from. And yeah, he killed himself. And he loved our band, like loved it. And we knew that he like really looked up to us. He was a little younger than us. I know him my whole life. And that was just so sad. And we wanted to, kind of like do the things that made our friends proud and made our community proud. And so it didn't feel like we were just like dissolving into this void of the time that it was, and, ambiguity of meaning and, friendship was friendships really meant a lot to all of us. And then September 11th happened like 2 weeks later. And that was kind of the sealing of the deal. We were like, all right, so we should go protest the war in Iraq. And it was so like, everybody showed up at 9 and everybody was gone by 5. It didn't really disrupt anything. Not that I wanted to disrupt anything, but I knew that nobody was listening. And it was just clear that like, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to go and invade this country. Regardless of what
a million people in the streets think, and what at the time what the rest of the world thinks, who is against war. But we did it anyway. So I was like, political science major in college, wanting to make a difference and know the truth and be a part of that. And I think things like that made me like, you know what? I don't really trust that situation for myself. I don't trust what it's going to do to me, that it might like eat me alive or turn me into one of them. So I'm going to stick with the people that are important to me, doing the things that are important to me. Yeah, man. So that's the song Stop Fighting. I think I'm going to do a couple more songs. I'm ready to talk about anything, and I can talk forever, but I don't want to, keep anybody here. I definitely the band didn't really start going hard until I took a trip to Ghana with Matt Goodwin, and that was really also foundational about like how incredible Ghana was, and Africa in general, just being a place that I wanted to know more about, and feeling like this just infinite amount of knowledge that is there that is beneficial to the world. And reggae is like a huge part of that. When I landed in Accra, they were playing the song One Drop by Bob Marley on the speakers. And that was profound, because it was like, wow, this music that was created, in part like created by Bob Marley, but like really popularized by him in this small this small island in the Caribbean, made it all the way back, speaking to Africa and speaking to the generation gap that was caused by slavery, and being a conscious African in the diaspora that Bob Marley and his people were. It was such a great feeling to know that like they got the message back, and to just hear it in the airport when I landed, that was really powerful. So I wrote this song when I was in Ghana. I wrote a couple songs there, but this is one that we played in Panda a lot. Also a lot, kind of same vibe, Stop Fighting. Oh, I traveled up north to Burkina Faso. Down there I met my brethren from long, long ago. Oh, and he tried to tell me things that I really wanted to know. Mark went to Ghana, Kwame. But my mind was filled with mass distress and pestilence. That's how it goes. It's funny how your mind can make you see your brother man out. My mind was rich with pride and doubt. No read in Revelation what it's all about. I'm still here crying, 'cause I'll never forget the way I lost my brother. No, I'll never forget the way how my brothers lost their fathers. No, I'll never forget no way how I cried like my mother if she lost me the same way. In this world there's hell to pay, and I'm not even sure when all this pestilence will end. Original intro. Oh, I traveled up north to alleviate my soul. It's funny how your brain slips and trips when you're so far from home. Kenneth, I bet you're still in the same world. You should really try and get to know. Let a mind rock with mass distress and depression. Only grows old. Funny how your mind can make you seek your brother man out. My mind was rich with pride and doubt. No one read in Revelation what it's all about. I'm still here crying, 'cause I'll never forget the way I
lost my brother. No, I'll never forget, no way how my brothers lost their fathers. Corey, big up. I'll never forget, no way how I cried like my mother if she lost me the same way. In this world there's hell to pay, when I'm not even sure when all its pestilence will end. Caught in the trenches, I'm caught in the trenches, caught in the trenches of this life. There's an emptiness that brings light to all of those who got nothing. Caught in the trenches of this life. There's an emptiness that brings light to all of those who've lost everything. We refuse to be what you wanted us to be. We are what we are. That's the way it's going to be. Said you can't persecute I for no equal opportunity. I'm talking about freedom, Justin, people's freedom and liberty. Buffalo Zoo, yeah, we've been chatting on your wine press much too long. Rebel, rebel, and we've been taken for granted much too long. Rebel, rebel, said that we've been chatting on your wine press. Rebel, rebel, and we've been taken for granted. The best, I hope we see you real soon. Rebel. Babylon system is the vampire. Vampire. Sucking the blood of the sufferers. Yeah. Tell the children the truth. Tell the children the truth. Tell the children the truth right now. Yeah, we've been riding on your wine press. Rebel, rebel. You know, that was an unplanned segue. That's a song I like to sing for my son. Babylon System is a Vampire. I just realized that I did 2 Bob Marley songs, which is kind of like not allowed in the reggae world, maybe. Oh man, Clinton Farron. I want to play his songs, but they're too good, and I like hearing him sing them better. But one that I love, I've been listening to, I can't play the whole thing. I don't know enough, but it's like Clinton Farron. If y'all aren't hip, Clinton's doing a lot of live streams. Getting to watch Clinton Farron play acoustic guitar in your own home, from his home, is one of the greatest gifts that you will be able to have in this lifetime. I'm not putting that. I'm not exaggerating. Like, guys, look at this. We're here. This is the future. Clinton Farron's performing in your kitchen. Give thanks for that. You're living in a time with people like Clinton, and we're so grateful. But I think about this song every day. Woke up early this morning with the song in my head. Woke up early this morning. Get out of bed. Grab a pen and a paper. I'm starting to write. My story must be told. Na 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 na. A good vibe this morning. How do you do? A good vibe this morning.
we're coming through. Must be told. I love that song, but I don't know the whole tune. It's called This Morning. It's the first song on his second to last album that came out. Clinton is putting out records pretty often. Each one of them, you know, kind of a perfect songwriter. I hope someday to write a song like that. But yeah, I love that song because he talks about, you know, going outside and seeing his neighbor. How do you do? Did you get some good rest last night? It's just like so, you know, so real life, so talkative, and also just, you know, beautiful song to wake up to. So that's about what I can do for a Clinton Farron song. I do know others, but I won't play them because they won't be very good. But yeah, man. I love you guys. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this. Thank you to Rootfire, and thank you to everybody that has been supportive of me and my crew, the people that I grew up with, being able to kind of live our lives out the way that we envisioned it, and stick together and be creative and make music, and you know, make our town, Rochester, New York. People are proud. Like when we're in another place, it's funny how sometimes it's possible that only people from Rochester come and see us in different places, and that's just our fan base, and that's fine because we're proud of that. And I do feel with Giant Panda that we've like met and connected personally with just about all of our fans, which is something that, again, hard work, and we're proud of it, and it really means a lot. Like we know y'all. I know you. I know you guys. Original 716. That's how well we know you. You know. But thank you for letting us be a part of your lives, and for being a part of our lives. I'm wondering what kind of good vibe songs we could have. We went down to Jamaica in 2007, and one of the first people we met was a brother, Dick Burness, who passed away a couple years ago, and he's kind of part of the band, and he introduced us to a guy named Jamaican Cowboy. Jamaican Cowboy is Alexander Vaughn, who played down in the Guerilla with like a cowboy hat on, and one of the best singers I've ever come across. And he would have this way of like combining old country vibes with mento and singing classic Jamaican songs that at the time, like songs we didn't know, but like a handful of songs I've learned from Jamaican Cowboy. This is one I like to sing to my daughter. Justin Schultz, bro, love you and the Zoo Crew. And again, like we've had a lot of years together. A lot of us folks have, and a lot of really beautiful experiences, and that's our life, you know. So thank you for being with us now. This song, I don't know the story to this song, but the story, what I've come to believe is that this is like a part of a Ray Charles song that was then taken. I don't know who did it first, but like in Jamaica, they take a song and like make it better, and Dennis Brown has a version of this song, but I'm spacing a Monty somebody is the version that like I've been used to hearing. But Jamaican Cowboy first sang this song to me. Like that's where I learned it from. Say what you say, do what you do. I've got something the money can't buy, 'cause oh yes, I love this little girl of mine. Oh yes, oh yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, oh, yeah. When I ain't got no money, she is still my honey. And there ain't no reason to be funny, 'cause oh, yeah. I little girl of mine. I love this little girl of mine. Yeah, I love this little girl of mine. Oh, I love this little girl of mine. Yeah, so there's this cool Ray Charles recording of kind of that, but it's like just a part of a song. And yeah, so Jamaican Cowboy taught me that tune. And another song that kind of in that style that I like to play, and I'll try it for y'all, is this one. What is it? I'm trying to remember who wrote it. I think I wrote it down somewhere. Ronnie Davis. Ronnie Davis. Oh yeah. All right. Oh yeah. All right. Who made the mountain, the river, and the sea? Who made the sunshine, the flowers, and the trees? Who made the man and called them you and me? Who worked such a miracle? I know who worked such a miracle. Who hears the music and listen when we play? Who makes tomorrow and one of yesterday? Where is this world going? Tell me who will lead the way? Who worked such a miracle? I know who worked such a miracle. Oh, money never made no mountains. Children, let yourself believe. And money never built no sunshine. They were all built by the master. Money never built no sunshine. Children, let yourself believe. Money never built no sunshine. They were all built by the master. Who hears the music and listen when we play? Who turned tomorrow and one of yesterday? Where is this world going? Tell me who will lead the way? Who works such a miracle? I know who works such a miracle. Who hears the music and listen when we play? Who works such a miracle? Yeah, I thought I knew that song a little bit better, but I listen to it a lot. I don't play it that much, but that song's called Money Never Made No Mountains, and it's by Ronnie Davis, I'm pretty sure. It's like, you know, on YouTube, there's that like Roots Reggae compilation. It's got like the reel to reel. It's on that mix, and I listen to that along with a lot of other music with my son every single morning. So I hear all these songs, and you know, I kind of know them, but like I've never really played them before. But I wanted to share that one. Anybody who here? Everybody here, I assume, has seen Giant Panda. I'm just trying to gauge, like, when was the first time that people saw Giant Panda, or like what's like a memorable show that sticks out to you, if you have it in you. I like to know that stuff. I like to know where we picked up the conversation in our lives, you know, because it's also, again, like doing this and kind of like you said, Eric Adams, you just said getting to hear all these songs that we otherwise wouldn't get to hear you play is very cool, James. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for listening. And it's true, like there's no way that anybody could know, you know, what Giant Panda is to other people is different than what it is to us. And like what we're inspired by and what we like to do is probably a little bit different than what most people know about us. And I understand that when I meet somebody from like Brazil that's like, I found your band on the internet, and they kind of start describing it, and it's interesting to just take in like what people think of you having never seen you or never met you or not knowing the full story. How could anybody know the full story? So like things like this are cool because we kind of get to fill in that space a little bit of legacy, like things that I'm talking about. And again, so grateful for the opportunity. Party in the park. Oh man. So people are saying some stuff. Never in real life. L-Dub. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Here, I feel like I know you like well at this point through this chat. Like we've been vibing the whole time. And so yeah, you haven't really experienced like what our live situation is, which is always different. Like I've never seen a Panda show either because I'm playing all of them. I'm so glad that you discovered us, and you know, to me, there's so much more music that exists that nobody's heard, just because maybe we haven't recorded it, or maybe it hasn't been released. Justin Schultz saw us at the first show in Mountain Jam. So the reason I could talk about the name for a really long time. If people want to ask the question, where does the name come from? It is a long and involved answer. But part of that name is Guerilla, Guerilla. If I'm like having to explain it quick to somebody, I'm like Guerilla, like Che. And that doesn't refer to like that we're like hiding out in like Bolivian jungles or like we're not like militia people or anything. We would sneak into festivals that we weren't booked at, and we would like Bonnaroo, and we would set up in like the most ideal place, thanks to our friends, the Sunweaver crew from New Hampshire. But even before that, thanks to Scribe, on a magical evening of, I could tell this story about when we first decided to quit our weekly gig that we had had for 2 years at what's now Anthology and drive a $500 van down to Bonnaroo and set up in the parking lot to play. That is an epic tale. But we would do that, and we started doing that at festivals, and we met up with this awesome people. They're still like, if you ever see Sunweaver, the Solar Cafe, they'll be at, they're at a lot of different festivals on the East Coast. The best food that you'll have at the festival, probably made by great people. Long time they've been doing it. Chip and the crew. So we would, they had solar power because he had all solar powered setup, Sunweaver Solar Cafe, and he was making smoothies and making delicious food and pumping out reggae 24 hours a day, like Midnight and all this St. Croix roots and like all this like kind of new style, newer roots that we were also into. And that's the first time that I ever like had an intimate vibe with like an 18-inch subwoofer. That's when I like found out about the Active Mackie 18-inch subwoofers that I eventually went and got and played bass out of for a while, because he just had this bass pumping. And we followed them to Mountain Jam, where that's the first time that we saw Justin, that Justin saw us. And that was like, we played in the part, we got booked at Mountain Jam, so we didn't sneak in there, but we still played a Guerilla set, and then we were never booked at Mountain Jam again. And I don't know if there is anything to that, but come to think of it, years later, we just didn't think that like the people that threw the festivals liked it that we did that. We didn't really care about it, but we were like, I guess maybe, you know, if we're just going to come and play for 12 hours for free, they're not going to book us. But we had more fun doing that than being on the stages, I'm telling you. So that, you know, getting to see us in that situation, those were really special times. Glad we were there together, Justin. We would play like, you know, I remember one set at Bonnaroo, we played for literally like from like midnight to 6 or 7 a.m. And we played like 4 songs, 5 songs, just like awesome feels and jams. So 2008-ish, Corey came in on it early, saw a lot go down. Oh, LW, thank you for coming out to Berkeley. That was a lot of fun. That place is pretty cool. Berkeley is where my wife went to college, and very famous place that I have not gotten to spend a lot of time in. And I would like to come there more and see and meet more people like y'all. And just, you know, we love California. It's so the place that we were trying to move to for a long time. Like, the Best went out and did it. There were a bunch of East Coast guys. They're like, we're going to move to California because that's where this is going down. We were never really able to do that, but thankfully we got to go and hang out there. And every time I'm leaving California, like as the van's pulling out, I'm like, why am I leaving this like amazing state? And you know, California's been through a lot over the years. We've had a lot of crazy experiences there actually, but whimsical vibes. Party in the Park, Kenneth Clark. Again, those, I think if anybody was going to say like, what are our favorite concerts to play, it's always if it's like free to the public in ideally like where we're from. So all of our family and friends are there. So that's what Rochester Party in the Park is for us. We love that stuff. We love that. Eric Adams says Panda show in Chicago 2009 at Shuba's. I remember that well. That was a place. It was kind of like, oh, Shuba's. Yeah. We were played with Revolution at Shuba's. And that was the first time that Revolution had a bus. And it was the first tour bus I'd ever seen in my life. And I was blown away. And Rory, we went and ate at some vegan diner because Rory was one of the first like very committed vegans that I had met. And I really respect people that are that live the vegan lifestyle. I wish I could do it. Someday, maybe I will. It's better for everybody and everything. But I remember him telling me that, you know, technically we were talking about like what is vegan and is it just about what you eat? And he was saying at the time, well, no, technically it's not. Technically cars aren't vegan because there's animal things, that parts of animals that get made into tires. But anyways, that's my memory from Shubas. Dude, Adam Schroeder, Cornell Frat Party 2002, SAE. We really took over the town. We played a lot. Thanks to our friend Ben Yerman Glazer. We did play some really fun Cornell frat parties in the early days. We were not in frats and we were not frat kids. So that was always fun to kind of bust up that scene. And some of the people were staring like, this isn't what I came to see. And some people were like, thank God this band is playing at this frat party. And those were the people that we're still with. Man. So the New Year's Eve show at Water Street where Matt hopped onto the railing in front of the crowd, stood out, but saw y'all a couple times before that. Okay, Corey, you saw us at New Year's Eve also at Water Street. Yeah, man. Matt, I feel like would climb the rafters and like stage dive. That I hope we get to do that sometime. And he's very agile and daring. Johnny Drool, Vegetable Buddies, Cosmic Bro. But my friend Johnny is a spiritual friend of mine. And I know that because we're connected, but we don't get to spend that much time together, but we will because this is a painting, right? I first saw GPGDS at Mount Snow. Calden Handpan, what up? First saw GPGDS at Mount Snow in Vermont, the last time at Paradise in Boston with Clinton Farron and the Movement. Incredible show. Yo, incredible show. That was really good. That was, okay, so John Watson introduced us to Clinton Farron's music, straight up. He was on the chat before. I don't know if he's still here. He 100%, one of those CDs that he gave us was Faculty in Dub. And, you know, then me and my guitar he gave me, and some live Boogie Brown, like Clinton Farron and the Boogie Brown Band. So he introduced us to Clinton Farron. So for us to be able to link up last year and make a tour happen where Clinton was joining us on the road, starting the shows off with his acoustic set, then we would play and he would join us for a couple of his tunes that we would play. And that, again, lifetime dream fulfilled. And then the Movement would play, our homies, and like crushing production and songs. And so at that Boston Paradise show, that's when I felt like we had really, like that's when I was really proud and we had come together to make it all happen because I was in the crowd dancing to Clinton Farron singing on a Movement song. And I'm trying to remember what song it was. It's really, really irie. I love the tune. It's one of their tunes that I really like. I just can't think of it right now. It's a song about smoking, about weed. And that I remember just singing there, and I could tell that Clinton was loving the movement song, and he was really like his vocals were very inspired. And I'm glad that we were all there together. Big love to the Solar Cafe. Matt Cook saw us at the Aggie Theater in Fort Collins multiple times throughout the 2010s. The Aggie Theater is first place that welcomed us in Colorado. Colorado turned into like one of the most epic spots for us to tour to. We had made some incredible music in that state for many years, like going back and going back and going back. But the Aggie is the first place that let us play. Actually, Rachel Orkey went and was living out there with one of our best friends, Amy, and she was doing a music therapy internship. And she's like, come out and let's play shows in Colorado, because she was in the band. And that was the first place that said, hey, you can play a free show. Scoo is the guy that owns it. And I remember he's just an epic, like he's one of the incredible, whimsical people that you meet along the way in the music business. They're often the club owners and the private club owners, not the Live Nation club owners, but the guys that like own their own spot are wild. And I love them and I'm grateful to them. Anyways, yeah, the Aggie, man. That was a lot of fun. He's got what Scoo has upstairs in the office of the Aggie, or what he had, is he brought me up, and I never had met this guy in my life. I never played in Colorado. He's like, all right. He's like, you're the bass player, you're the manager. I'm like, sure. He's like, all right, got 2 questions for you. He said, look at that picture. Do you know who that is? I'm like, yeah, that's Wayne Gretzky. And he had a picture of Wayne Gretzky playing hockey. He's like, do you know who that is? And there's a little kid behind the glass. And I was like, no. He's like, that's me. He's like, I'm a huge Wayne Gretzky fan. And then second question, have you ever seen Trailer Park Boys? And I said, no, because this was like 2006. And he was like, all right, well, I have DVDs of Trailer Park Boys and King of Kong, which is an amazing documentary. I highly recommend King of Kong if anybody has seen it. He's like, I give these to all bands that are rolling through because I know you guys need stuff to watch. So I'll never forget that. Of course, I watched a lot of Trailer Park Boys and King of Kong after that. Dude, are we still homies with Alex and Kalmia of Rubble Bucket? They were one of my favorite. Yeah, dude, we are. We are. We will always be homies with them. Funny story that was Matt Cook asked that question. If we're still, dude, Rubble Bucket, if you don't know about Rubble Bucket, get into it and dive deep, because the songs will stick with you forever. The music is just totally original and beautiful. And they're all beautiful people. Have had a really interesting history in their lineup, and just their trip has been really incredible. To spare you the details of like hardships in life, Kalmia had cancer and got over it, and she beat cancer at like 35. She's a peer, and they came out with the album Survival Sounds. I know this is kind of jumbled, so I met Cal and Alex when I was 18 years old with the band Mountain Mojo Authority that I talked about maybe like an hour ago. We've been doing this for 2 hours. That's crazy. They were Seth Herman, who started Rootfire, who's my good brother and friend, and I love him. I met him through Matt Goodwin. He became the manager of Mountain Mojo Authority, and he was going to college at University of Vermont. And he got us a gig up there at Slade Hall, which is infamous because Fish played there. And it's a frat, essentially, like a hippie frat, I think, at UVM. I think I'm right. And we went up there, and he's like, I have a saxophone player and a trumpet player who are going to play with you guys. And we're like, all right. And it was Cal and Alex, and they played with our band every time that we went to Vermont. And then the next time I saw them, they were the horn section for my favorite band, John Brown's Body. We went on tour with them a bunch. Good friends. And then they left JBB to start taking Rubble Bucket seriously, and it got serious. Rubble Bucket made amazing music, and they're still making amazing music. But Kalmia and Alex also both have separate projects that are, just in a different direction from Rubble Bucket, but still following the thread of them as artists. And both of their projects are some of my favorite things to listen to, like gut-wrenching, beautiful songs. I know Alex just had an awesome Tiny Desk concert, and their albums go listen to them. So many good artists to listen to, but we did we did open for Medeski Martin Wood at Party in the Park under the bridge across from the jail is how we talk about that. Yeah, we totally opened for Medeski Martin Wood and gave them a joint of some Durban Poison or maybe some Rochester Sour Diesel. And I remember them being stoked. Not to out you guys, MMW. You're doing just fine. Matt Craig with the BHS Ham Jam. I never participated in the Ham Jam, though I did get up on stage and do like an Andy Kaufman style intrusion of somebody else's Andy Kaufman bit, but that's for another day. Kevin Kinsella, Johnny Dirol, Kevin Kinsella is probably, like, as a songwriter, like our biggest inspiration. Just like taking into account the time that we started writing songs for this band and the music that we were listening to, and that gave us a lot of direction. It was what they were doing in I-Town, in Ithaca, and Kevin was a major part of that and still is. He's kind of like he's not an old guy, but he's like our elder, you know, like we really look up to him. And him and Clinton Farron doing Other Side of the Mountain is you should have that be part of your life. That video, it's on YouTube. Oh man, the Wood Brothers, Kenneth Clark. The Wood Brothers are one of Giant Panda's favorite bands for sure. We've gotten to play with them a couple times. Sometimes Aaron Lip gets to jam with them. They love him, and they were really. We played with them a couple times, and they were always really, really cool to us. Just like always treat us very respectfully, and that's always wild because they're incredible. And, you know, Matt Cook. Oh man, thank you. Matt's Cook saying this is awesome. He's always wanted to have a Q&A with my favorite bands. I didn't even know this was gonna turn into such a Q&A, but I'm having a blast. I mean, I could do this forever. My son's woken up twice, but that's fine. He's gonna go back to sleep. Panda with Aaron Litt was very special. You know what I keep around? This is hanging up right next to my Aaron's not in this picture, I don't think, but this is what I always keep to remember, and this is what you guys can think about for the future, you know, something to keep you going. Because my wife was reading an article today, as we're all reading lots, and it says that, you know, this quarantine thing, like a lot of us, we just have to arrive on the other side. You don't have to like pick up a new skill, and I don't have to be the best guitar playing streamer dad ever. We just gotta get through this, you know. And some of us are in better situations than others, but I hope that when it's all said and done, that we can get back to Grassroots, because Grassroots is my favorite festival. It's very magical, and this is the flyer. This is like maybe the thing I'm one of the most proud of. This is a flyer for Grassroots that I found at a store, and this is us. This is Panda, like on the cover of the Grassroots flyer, and I remember that moment of that show. There's Matt O'Brien up there playing percussion. Brian Bongo's up there. Matt Goodwin's right there. Tony, Dylan, me, Chris back there. It's just like, you know, so much fun. And Selena, who is one of the maestros behind Grassroots, she had just rigged up some special lights, and we didn't even know it. And during one of our songs, after the sun went down, I think we were playing Signs. It was like the jam of Signs, and these lights hit, and everybody was just like, it was magic. And then they used this shot as a flyer, and that's like a big proud thing for me. I like snagged it from the store and kept it, and I keep it next to my desk. It's just like something that I'm really proud of, being a part of Grassroots, being part of it enough that we could be on the front of the flyer, whether it's just a cool picture, I don't care. Here we are, we're up on it. And yeah, I kind of, this is the only song, this song, I woke up from a dream singing the oohs of this song. I really love oohs, but they're not always easy for me to do. And then I forgot the song, and then at a gas station, looking at the cold drink section, I remember it popping back into my head, and I immediately wrote the song. And I'm going to play it for you because we still have it. lives that we're leading couldn't be more pleasing. Pour some wine and pass it on to me. If you believe in bread that we're eating, show some signs. Yeah, show some signs. Yeah, your design. Oh, oh, yeah, to know them signs. In this time, pour water over me. If I'm not breathing, I should believe it. All this time, the moon still moves the sea. It's not receding. Who you believe in, show some signs. Yeah, show some signs. Yeah, your design. Oh yeah, to know them signs. And this one's going out to all of y'all. Yeah. Oh, to everyone feeling love, all the friends I know. It's no surprise that our lives change in time it shows. We're only one history in a vine it grows. Only to be born again, around the sun again. Wild with the passion, so childlike, questioning the path we go. Between the sun and the moon we flow. Only to be born again, around the sun again. I never want to slip past. I never want to think too fast. It's more a circle than a line, I know. And if you love and live and show some signs, show some signs. Oh yeah, show some signs. Yeah, your design. Yeah, to show some signs. Shout out to Smitty from Smitty's Vintage Vibe. Big up, Smitty. Yeah. Yeah, so that song is like literally about if you're lying on the beach in the water, like where the wave comes up, but you're still let it wash over you. Like that's what that song is about. That feeling and kind of like the things that you're thinking about looking up at the sky. But yeah, I that song is from a dream. So like that's like the excavated, you know, you got to reach out and grab it when you get it, and it comes quick when it happens. Timmy Egan, big up yourself, bro. Any words of wisdom we conveyed to Article Sound System? No, man, those guys don't need words of wisdom. They are wise. They have the wisdom. It was really, we first met them like just most recently. We played in Santa Cruz with them at the Catalyst. And they drove from Florida to Santa Cruz to be at that show, to play for like a half an hour, first band of the night. And you know what? They're unbelievable. And people were talking about that set for the rest of the night. They come in and they know exactly what they got to do. They have a great performance. They have great songs. They're very professional. And they're also just calm and smooth. And they're like, they know that they're there to give you a good time and help you have a good time. That's what to me, that's what like the real job of the musician or the performer is. Not a musician, a performer. Like a performer's job is to kind of like relax people and let them have a good time. When you get into like the medicine musical people, they have like less of a responsibility with that, I think. Yeah, but I don't know if their article is the best. The best is the best. Article is also the best. LW, we have played Cali Roots. We had a great time at Cali Roots a couple of years ago. We played, and then we did a late night show across the street with the Expanders. And Man Like Devin was talking about it on his stream last night, which was also unbelievable to be able to sit in my house and listen to Devin play music. This is a gift. So yeah, we play Cali Roots. We love Cali Roots. We love The sound clash. Yeah, we had a sound clash, and we like learned a lot of classic tunes and didn't have a rehearsal and just got on and did it. And it was really fun. One of the highlights of that year. Another year we got asked to do Cali Roots and we couldn't do it. And then, I'm sure we'll be back. We just did Arizona Roots. So that's like Cali Roots. And that was so fun. Like I was kind of over the moon about how much fun I had there. Giant Panda and Expanders is an incredible show. And that's happened before a good amount of time. And, not as many times as I would like. And I'd like it to happen again. But we went on a tour with them and one of our ultimate favorite bands. Can't talk about them enough. I could talk about them for the whole night. The Simkin Project. Simkin Project hasn't been mentioned yet, but they are another incredible songwriting machine of powerful players and people. No Effects, love you. No Effects, Bibby Ranson. I love all of those. We went on a tour called In Roots We Trust, and it's got a sick poster that was made by Steve Johansson, who used to make some posters for the Grateful Dead. And we did it. We lived it, and it was a lot of fun. I feel like I was going to say something else about signs. You guys, anybody here read books? I was thinking about, I listen to things more because I'm a better listener than I am a reader. And thankfully, we have a lot of awesome things to listen. But anybody read this book, David Byrne, How Music Works? I don't know if it comes up backwards there. But this is an incredible book because David Byrne, founder of the Talking Heads and other things, is just like, again, living in a time with David Byrne, living in the same, you could have been living 2,000 years ago or 2,000 years from now. David Byrne wouldn't be there. He's here right now. So to be able to read a book that he wrote, but the reason why I bring it up is because it's sitting there and he talks about music created for different spaces, like how, African drums don't really sound good in a concert hall because like they're made to be played outside, whereas like bebop jazz doesn't sound good in an arena, and like U2 and like arena rock is like made for that space, like to sell tickets to fill that spot and let like these drony long waves. If you listen to like U2 or some of those big arena bands, I love U2. It's literally before I had that Bob Marley CD when I was 11, I had Octung Baby. That's the first CD I ever had. My sister gave it to me. I love that record. So that book that David Byrne talks about that. And I was thinking about this avenue for making music, like the stream, and how really cool it is. I'm not computer literate enough to do what I would want to do on a stream, but I love DJs. I love electronic music. I always have. I love the idea of like what hip hop has brought us. Like hip hop is probably the greatest American export, greatest cultural export to come out of this country, as far as the effect that it has and like how powerful it is. And even like what we've learned from hip hop about like sampling or like using something that has already been made before, like a Miles Davis trumpet, and putting it to make a new sound. What you could do like in a streaming situation, you see like all the DJs on Instagram, like throwing parties, man. You got a sound system in your house. That's like the new sound system. In Jamaica, they didn't create music in the 60s and 70s for the live scene. They made it for the DJ, for the sound system, for the speakers. This is music that's supposed to be heard out of speakers. And just I'm excited for the future to see like what happens with interfaces and live and like people making and creating online. So I kind of interested what David Byrne has to say about that. Kenneth Clark, read Invisible Cities, something Calvino are the name. P.S. I hate reading, but this book brought me in. Scar Tissue. I love Scar Tissue, man. Pardon my words. I'm a junkie for a good rock star story, and Scar Tissue is one of the better ones. Yup. Bios. Hip hop and rap was a wide awakening. Yeah, I'm still learning about hip hop and rap and still being influenced by it. Always, man. It's just, this is in its infancy. Reggae is in its infancy, but hip hop. Watching like the documentaries that are around on Netflix, and just that again, you're living in this time. This time is now. Like we're alive right now, and Kool Herc is also still alive and doing interviews. And Africa Bambaataa and all these guys can talk to you about what happened and how hip hop came to be. It's not like wondering, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, how a religion came to be. Certainly, I think music and the power of music, and especially the power of sound systems and technology and music and recording is the first kind of time travel that we have, like that's the closest thing to time travel, that you can record a moment and then play it back. So like every song that you've ever heard, you're like replaying that moment that artist had over and over and over again. You're like capturing time. And before that technology was around, there was no way to really do that. A photograph is not like that. That's like just a shot, whereas a recording is multiple shots of sound. So I could very much see music is already very sacred to a lot of people, and I could see sound systems and just the creation of music occupying that spot. And you go to some of the mega churches and you see like the massive sound systems. When I'm around, I visit Turkey usually once a year, and there's a lot of mosques, and they have speakers that are playing the call to prayer, which is like, again, how long have there been speakers on those minarets? And it's a whole new change about how people experience music, and especially like the sacredness of music. Oh, whoever knows the mystery of vibrations indeed knows all things. L-Dub coming with the wisdom of Hazrat Inyat Khan. So much to say, so much to say. John Brown's body, old bass player David Gould, gave me the book, The Mysticism of Sound and Music by Hazrat Inyat Khan, when I was like 20. And that was, again, one of my favorite books. And my mother just recently started reading him a lot and got really interested and is doing research on his daughter. My mom is a brilliant person and could talk forever about that. And it's just fascinating, like what she's kind of finding out. So it's natural mystic that you bring this up, L-Dub, my new friend. My favorite 311 song, I really like Grassroots and Music, like those older albums, but I also like, is it not, the album isn't called Amber, but it's after the Blue album. I remember like really getting into that record and expecting I wasn't going to. The Blue album I didn't really like. That was like when I first heard 311, and I remember getting it, and I was like, I can't really get into this. And then I heard Grassroots and Music, and I was like, oh, this is why everybody loves, this is why 311 is such a thing. And now I love 311, extremely innovative and long-standing. Matt Cook, how would you explain the reciprocal nature of energy between musicians, performers, and the audience? Matt, that's such a good question. I think about that a lot, and I was trying to think about how to talk about that actually, because like me sitting in my basement playing to you my guitar to you guys, which I said earlier in the stream is not something that I usually do. Like I reserve my guitar for myself, and I don't like to perform with it, even though this is kind of a nice mix of nobody's around, but everybody's around. It's a much different, it's like, that's one way to experience music, but there is nothing like being on stage and having to pass that energy ball back and forth with the crowd. I think one thing about the nature is that we all, I like to say that we all meet in the music, Transistors right after Blue. Transistors is a sweet album, Tim. We all meet in the music, whereas like I'm making the music and I'm feeling a certain way, and the crowd is there feeling the music, but also like reflecting the music, and we meet in the middle of that sound, like that's actually like, I'm never going to know you. We might feel like we really know each other because have seen each other at shows, but really we don't. We know that space, and we've experienced that space together. But like when we walk away from that space, we don't get to exist in the same way. And so I think that the live setting for music is, again, a special sacred place, whereas like recorded music lasts forever, written music lasts forever, but that moment of energy live, you can't recreate it, you can't get it back. Like it's never going to sound the same on a recording. That's like a very special place, and I would love to see what science does in the future of like finding out what that spot is actually vibrationally, where it exists, what are we sharing, why is sharing in that scenario that much more special and unique to all of us. And I can tell you from playing in a lot of different rooms to a lot of different people that it is very different from place to place, and every single person's energy matters. Oh, nice. L-Dub is, we have an expert in the house. We give that to each other, but at the same time, like, we can't fully grasp it and we can't fully be there. And you know, I think about it all the time. And another thing, like, I can't practice singing and playing the bass in the same way that I would feel if I was on stage. It's just, there's a different power and energy that comes. Whereas you can try to, me personally speaking, I can try to warm up as much as possible, and it's very good to do that. And I think people should do that, be loose and warm up, but you can't like practice that. You have to just do it. And I've been fortunate, like, that's what my training has been, playing around people. I'm very much like, I like to communicate, like, I like to share energy. That's why I'm in music. That's why I continue with it, to make that connection. And I'll tell you another thing, for better or for worse, I think we can see the pain in each other's eyes. Like, I think, I don't know if you can see it in musicians' eyes. A lot of times, like, the people that you're seeing play have had a tough day, or they're people in their life are missing them, or they're missing people. It's not always the happiest, like, moment to moment scenario when you're touring for a lot of people. And I know that, just like, I don't know, over the years, I've definitely like seen more looking into people's eyes in the crowd than I've wanted to. And I'm just being like honest, and that's just that's part of the job or whatever. That's part of seeing so many people, is that, you know, you feel the pain and you feel the joy, and there's a lot of highs, and there's also, like, that's when you really gotta, it sounds convoluted or something, but like, that's when you really got to step it up. And like, if you go to a room and there's only like 10 people there, that's when you really got to perform. Like, you really got to play, put everything into it, because those people showed up, and you might have that person in the crowd that, like, that was the one thing that they were looking forward to, or that's what they needed to change things. But in the end, L-Dub, you got to protect your neck. That's true. A lot of vampires in this world, you know, like, I would say, if I have some advice for Article Sound System, no, but if I have some advice that, for people, is that, like, you should only be as open as you want to be with people. And, you know, sometimes people just want to talk to you to, like, control what you're doing in your energy. I don't know any other way to put that, but it's not necessarily that person's fault when that happens, but you have to be aware that you don't have to talk to every single person and, like, follow them into the alley and, like, listen to everything that they have to say. You need to do what you can do to be, like, real and honest of a person. Holler Horn was great, man. Holler Horn was incredible. We were tired that night, man. Yeah, thank you, Kenneth. Yeah, we were doing a lot of traveling, and we ended up playing 2 sets, I think, and it was a lot of fun. Like, Holler Horn Distillery is in Naples, New York, and it's turned into, like, a very unique place to play. Like, we played there once, but we know we're going to play there again. And it's unlike just based on the things we've been talking about, the experience that you'll have there will be different than seeing us in other places, for sure. Yeah, I think I'm going to play another tune. And yeah, y'all are hanging out. I mean, we can keep hanging out. I gotta, like, you know, take a pee and stuff. What other songs do I know? Got a list of songs, like, all the songs that I know, I kind of have a list of them. I keep around. But then I look at the list, I'm like, I don't know if I really know those songs. You know, we can do some originals, we can do covers. This is a song that I learned and sing to my son, and I sang it to him when my wife was pregnant, and we would sing it together. And I swear, he's very musical. He's one, and I feel like the first day he was alive, he was singing this song. We'll see what's going on. It's not John Prine. I wish I knew all John Prine songs, but I don't. Said you have my heart, and we'll never be a world apart. Maybe in magazines, but you'll still be my star. Baby, 'cause in the dark, you can't see shiny cars. That's when I'm gonna need you there. With you, I'll always care. Because when the sun shines, we shine together. Told you I'll be here forever, and that I'll always be your friend. Took an oath and we'll stick it out to the end. Now it's raining more than ever. Told you we'll still have each other. You can stand under my umbrella. You can stand under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, hey, 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 under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, hey, 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 under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, hey, hey, under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, hey, 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 fancy things. No, they'll never come in between. You're part of my identity, here for infinity. When the world has took its part, when the war has dealt its cards, even if the hand is hard, together we'll mend your heart. Because when the sun shines, we shine together. Told you I'll be here forever, and that'll always be your friend. I took an oath and I'm gonna stick it out to the end. Now it's raining more than ever. Told you we'll still have each other. You can stand under my umbrella. You can stand under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, hey, 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 under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, hey, hey, under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, hey, 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 under my umbrella. Ella, Ella, hey, 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 hey. There's a bridge. You can sing it to yourself because I can't ever remember it, but that's the tune that I like to sing to my son. It's Rihanna, Umbrella. And like when he was born, like a couple hours, he's like, Ella, Ella, Ella. And Taryn and I were like, is he singing Rihanna? We sang that to him every day. And Rihanna. Love her. Little Miss Sunshine. This is one of my favorites. Oh, in the timbers of Venerio, wolves are running around. Winter was so hard and cold, goes 10 feet beneath the ground. Don't murder me, I beg of you, don't murder me. Please don't murder me. I sat down to my supper. 'Twas a bottle of red whiskey. I said my prayers, I went to bed. That's the last they saw of me. Don't murder me, I beg of you, don't murder me. Please don't murder me. Oh, the wolf came in, I got my cards. Wolf came in, I got my cards. We sat down for a game. I cut my deck to the queen of spades, but the cards were all the same. Don't murder me, I beg of you, don't murder me. Please don't murder me. Oh, as I wolf and I wolf, 600 pounds of sin. He's grinning at my window. All I said was, come on in, don't murder me. I
beg of you, don't murder me. Please don't murder me. Don't murder me. Aaron, look where you at when I need you, bro. Oh, in the backwash of Canario, that black and bloody mire, dire wolf collects his dues while the boys sing around the fire. Don't murder me. I beg of you, don't murder me. Please don't murder me. Don't murder me. Oh, I beg of you, don't murder me. Please don't murder me. Tim Egan, me, I'm a Beatles guy. I'm a Beatles guy. I love the Beatles. I love the Beatles. Can go down so many, matrixy of things with why I love the Beatles. Took me a long time to love the Rolling Stones, and I do. I now love the Rolling Stones. It took Fish playing Exile on Main Street at Festival 8 in California for me to really dig in, and now I'm a huge fan. I'll be right back. It's real. Talk amongst yourselves. How funny is this, man? Oh my God. Yeah, so do I have any gin? I don't. I'm a tequila drinker. I do have some tequila around. You need a beer, Johnny? I got a Modelo for you upstairs. I'm still on the Puer, man. I love Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd again is like I had to work to love Pink Floyd because their music was so dark that it just affected me. I couldn't listen to it for a while. Casamigos. Oh, it's good stuff. What's up, Max? What's up, Shredder? I wish you could come play these songs with me. You know what? I want to just thank everybody who's given me the opportunity to do this tonight because, like I've said throughout the stream, this isn't something that I don't play guitar or perform really for people ever. And it's giving me motivation to like get better at it and like learn full songs and be able to complete playing a tune. Still to this day, it's an incredible release. Someone asked me about my favorite electronic artist. I love electronic music, and I have since I was really young. Rochester, New York, where I'm from, had an incredible drum and bass scene, and just rave scene, electronic music in general. When it comes to like specific artists, like I don't even know.
I don't even know, because most things I listened to were like through DJs that I knew who were like playing, you know, sets. That being said, like I still listen to Ronnie Size a lot. I know that's like one of the more mainstream drum and bass people, but I listen to a lot of Ronnie Size. And you know, for me, DJ Shadow was electronic music, and that I love my drummer, or not my drummer, but the drummer in Panda, Chris. We realized that like people would always be asking him like, who is your biggest influence? And he would say all these names, Carly Barrett obviously being the biggest one, but we realized down the road that DJ Shadow is like a huge influence on Chris's drumming. You can hear it just in like how he plays. The sounds of his drums are like, could be found on a Shadow album or out of a crate. I really like the aesthetic of electronic music, and it bothered me when I was growing up that a DJ I didn't think could like improvise. And it turns out that being a DJ is incredible and super difficult, whole different skill. But now, of course, more DJs have like keyboards, and there's Ableton and there's Push, and you can make like anything happen live. So when Pretty Lights came out with the color map of the sun, and like that he hired Adam Deitch and Stu Brooks and those cats and Krasno and stuff to be recording at the Studio G in Brooklyn. Joel Hamilton was the producer. Like that's the direction of electronic music that I was really interested in last. I know that's not electronic music necessarily, but and then Pretty Lights went and made his own synthesizers and recorded a bunch of musicians in New Orleans, and just that story of how that album came out is really cool. And listening to like the raw sessions, I love bass, so like I'm into when dubstep came out. I don't know a lot of dubstep artists, but I was like, man, this is great. I love it that people build huge sound systems made for like more bass than like my bass. My 75 P-bass, here she is. This is my baby right here. Oh, she's so nice. I love her. Of course, can't play right now because the kids are sleeping, but beautiful bass. I'd like to tell you guys, I would love to go to Burning Man. I've always wanted to go to Burning Man. I think that ship has sailed for me for a couple years, but nobody asked me. But if you want to know what I've been listening to for a while, I've had Afropop Worldwide on at my house for many hours a day. Afropop Worldwide is like a radio program where PRI, Josh Collinet, been doing it since the 80s, and they will like pick a spot in Africa or a certain type of music and kind of like tell the story of what this music is and how it came to be. And then like have they'll showcase like some of the artists. And so like it's a good combination of like, for me, of like an expert talking about something that I don't know anything about, which is usually like this African, whatever they're talking about, I usually don't know much about. And then like long periods of the sickest music that I've ever heard be played that I would never have found. And you can go to SoundCloud, afropop.org, Afropop Worldwide, SoundCloud, and just press play all. And someone asked me 2 hours ago. Nice, I missed that. I'm trying to keep up on the comments. For example, Connor Oberst, I'll talk about that because I don't listen to enough of him. Yeah, so I just put Afropop Worldwide on all day when I'm with my kids. And I didn't learn about this artist that I'm going to tell you about through Afropop Worldwide, but they have recently showcased him. And in South Bend, I have been fortunate enough to meet my friend Apasa Quilimbe, who is from the country Malawi. And he's just like one of the most knowledgeable people on styles of music of, Southern Central Africa. And he knows so much. And he's an amazing bass player, guitar player, songwriter. We recorded an album. We're hoping for it to be released in the next year. Matt Goodwin is on it. We're just kind of trying to get the funds together to like mix it and put it out. And so, yeah, the best music that I discovered this year, he showed it to me, and it's called, the artist's name is Alec Macheso, Alick. Alec Macheso is a bass player from Zimbabwe, and he came up with a style that they call Sunguru, Sunguru, Sunguru. And it became the most popular music in Zimbabwe and sold more records than any other style of music in Zimbabwe. And it's like, you know, usually there's like 3 guitar players and 1 bass, and Alec Macheso is the lead bass player playing a 6-string bass and singing. And these bass lines are just like, so just really medicine music stuff. And it's like, for any of the musicians out there, like most of these songs are in 1-4-5, like 1-4-5, basically one of the most basic combination of chords that is around there. It's the blues. It originally comes from Africa, but like in all songs, it's 1-4-5. All these Alec Macheso songs are basically 1-4-5. They're like 12, 13-minute long songs with like really wild bass and like crazy singing. And this is like this is the pop music of Zimbabwe and Malawi. And so what I'm trying to do on the bass, Apatsa showed me Alec Macheso, and then I dug deep and got into a whole bunch of other like Sunguru music in Zimbabwe, Southern African music, mostly because of the bass playing. And I'm trying to like sit there and pick apart these bass parts to learn them, just to like learn. I love learning, but I never learned something the whole way. I just don't. You can see with these songs that I'm playing. So I've been trying to pick apart these bass lines, and it's so complicated and so so fulfilling when I do it. And then I found out on YouTube there's like this Norwegian guy that has already done this. Really good player. He's gone down and played with Alec Macheso, and he has all these tutorial videos where he's taking apart these songs. And that's the best music that I've discovered in a long time. And also the Mark Juliana album, Beat Music. Woo! Y'all check that out. Y'all know about Mark Juliana, the drummer? Surprisingly enough, it's talking about electronic music. It's very much electronic music oriented. He's like he's like killing jazz drummer. And that album has a lot of reggae on it. And I was really surprised. I was like, whoa, this guy is like all up in my brain. Like he knows what I want to hear. And really recommend it. I think it won a Grammy this year. Best something. But it's not like I'm the only one that knows about it. What about anybody else? Anybody else have any like music to recommend that maybe we might not know about, or even maybe that we do know about? Again, I love The Movement, and I love their new record, Ways of the World. I have it right over here. Love that album. Yeah. Dudes, larger than John Watson. Yeah. I mean, Student for Life, and I will never be as good as I want to be. And that is just something I have to live with. It's nice to be around greatness. And I, again, so grateful to know Apatsa. And I can't wait till this lockdown is over so him and I can get back to making some music. That's like the person who, when I moved to Indiana, I didn't really, and also I know him because of David Alert, who is like the reggae man in South Bend, which is another whimsical musical story, which is kind of the theme that I wanted to set for this conversation in this session, is that like music will, and the things that happen through music will just lead you to amazing places and doing amazing things. And so Apatsa Kwalimbe, getting to meet him through David Alert, he has been like very much, he's who, like that sign that like, oh, I know that I'm in the right place. I know that South Bend is where I'm supposed to be because I met this dude who knows everything about everything I've ever wanted to know about. And he lent me this bass, and check out the sticker that he's got on it. Roots of Rebellion. That's right, because it's that whimsical musical thing. Because they came to South Bend and played at Vegetable Buddies. And I've never like been a 5-string player, but then I finally understood why all this African music has 5-string, because they got to play all these like complicated parts that are up, that can all be played in like one position up here. And I'm not very good at it yet, any of it, but I'm trying to think of like one of the craziest. Not for this session, but sometime I hope to play you guys some Alec Macheso, hopefully live from like Malawi or Zimbabwe with like me and Napatsa raging. I can't do it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'll go back to playing my cowboy guitar. The strangest instrument I've ever learned to play, Kenneth, I don't know, because I don't know how to play that many instruments. I think the strangest instrument I've ever learned to play is a bass, an electric bass, because you're not really playing the bass to me like you're playing the speaker. Like that's what the vibe is with an electric bass. You're moving air through a speaker, and like that's what you're playing. The bass is just like the controller, you know, and you're playing the speaker. So like learning to play the speaker, which again, that Mackie subwoofer, that chip at the Sunweaver had. Matt Cook, I'd say like in the United States, it's a really hard question to answer. My favorite contemporary bass player is Stu Brooks. He plays, his band is Dub Trio. But he also plays with, he was supposed to this weekend be doing the musical director, I think, or something like that, of Danny Elfman at Coachella. Stu is just involved in a lot of projects, and I've always, I kind of look to him to see like what's happening, just the way that he plays, like the creative ways that he uses pedals and that he tunes the bass in different ways. My favorite bass player of all time is Family Man. My favorite, like other favorite bass player is Alec Macheso, who I just talked about from Zimbabwe. Love Victor Wooten. Okay, Tim, let's talk about Victor Wooten, because I love, Victor Wooten, again, like a teacher, out of this world bass player, but also like very humble, and like humble in the way that like he'll talk to you and really tell you how he approaches things. And he wrote a book on it. And I always like the song My Four Strings and Me, which is why I never had a 5-string. Jesse Herrera is an amazing bass player. Do you know Jesse, Corey? Are we talking about the same Jesse? The Jesse Herrera? Great player. Yo, my cuz up in the woods. Y'all should go check out ZPD Survival on YouTube. Beautiful videos of what it's like, life in Michigan, and then some. Dude, Jesse's your uncle. That's crazy. Yeah, man, great bass player, killing bass player. What were we talking about? Bass players, Alec Macheso, Stu Brooks, Garrett Sayer from the Motet is one of the best people to ever pick up the bass. Matt Cook, absolutely, hands down. Again, I don't get into this favorite talk too much because like there's so many good people that there's no favorite. But like when my daughter asked me what my favorite color is, like I don't have a favorite color. Like I like colors, and I like all of them. And some of them are richer than others. I don't know. Garrett, man, here's what Garrett said to me one time. Garrett is a monster. The first time I ever saw him was playing with a band called Miracle Orchestra in Ithaca at the Haunt. And then I became good friends with his brother, Drew, who is an incredible saxophone player, played with John Brown's Body, also a killer DJ, Selecta. Garrett said to me, he said, do you know Timoshenko? And I did know Timoshenko. He said, because that's one of the best people in the world to ever pick up the bass. And I think I believe that because it's coming from Garrett. And I do know Timo. Timo, again, played with all sorts of bands. Boston guy, plays with Tommy B a lot for Double Apocalypse. I met him when he was playing with G Love and Special Sauce. Man. Oh, Davey 504, Kenneth. I watch that guy's videos for sure. What I like to do on YouTube is I like to watch bass videos without my bass in hand. I should always have my bass in hand. I watch them on my TV, which is just absurd and a different kind of a dork. I like to watch beginner YouTube videos because I like to see how people approach the bass and how they teach it, even though I've never taught a lesson in my life. No effects, Op Ivy Rancid. Solid. We've talked about how solid that is. Dub Apocalypse is a group in Boston. It's Van Martin on guitar, Tommy Benedetti, who's just one of the killers on the drums. Johnny Trauma plays with them, I think. And a host of Boston people. It's like, Boston's one of those towns that has like solid hangs that have been going on for a long time, and only good musicians come in. And Dub Apocalypse is like sort of the standard in Boston of improvisation, like, treating reggae, a lot of them bass players are just supposed to know, and then someone shouts out that rhythm, just like if you were like playing in a jazz band and they're like, play A Train, you have to know all that stuff. And then when every player knows that, then you can open it up to improvisation. Nate Edgar is one of my favorite bass players, plays Dub Apocalypse quite a bit. Nate is one of the only people that I've ever sat down with and has like showed me things about the bass that I really needed to know and that I still try to remember all the time. You should do the Slap Like Now thing as a tribute, and I'll send it to him. Slap Like Now. I don't know what Slap Like Now is. One thing I don't know how to do is slap. I mean, I do, but I'm not like a slapper. I love Apatsa, my homie from in South Bend. He shows this cool like South African slap style that is super cool and laid back and more my speed, but I can't remember what it is. Oh man, you guys, this is fun. We can keep talking, say stuff. I can sing some more tunes. Oh, you know what I was gonna do? If y'all want, a lot of songs that I write, like I write songs for people. That's actually my favorite thing to do. Like I'll write a song for like my wife or like my daughter or like my friends' kids. Like those are really good inspirations to like write a song for somebody. And I was gonna maybe play some of those songs, but I don't have to because they're honestly, they're kind of, like I said, music is kind of just for me, even though I wrote them for other people. But one example is like Greatest of Days is a song we play with Panda. It's on the Make It Better record. Again, just as a cutaway, Make It Better. This, if you notice, our band name, Elliot's song by Thunderbody, I'm ready already. Love that song. I have a song for Elliot too. Our band name is not on here because we love and respect the artists that made this cover so much. Icy and Sot, highly recommend looking them up. World famous artists. And we wanted it to be on vinyl. Like we wanted this cover to be here. And it took a long time. We finally got the vinyl and I just have it next to me. This is my Make It Better vinyl. Love that cover. Long story behind that cover. Okay. Well, I'll play the song I wrote for my daughter, which y'all might know. Again, I'm not going to mess with the melodies or anything, but. Coming through, the ocean is you. Enjoy your body like it was brand new. That's all true as the sky is blue. What's up today, baby? What you wanna do? And I am you, she is too. Oh, what a familiar point of view. It's work to do, and we'll see you through on the greatest of days. Coming through, green and blue. Respect your body cause it knows what to do. We love you and we'll see you through on the greatest of days. And I am you, she is too. Oh, what a familiar point of view. It's work to do and we'll see you through on the greatest of days. First is just trying to lift my head up off the bed. Next thing you know, I'm off and running. First is
Thursday's just trying to lift my head up off the bed. Next thing you know, I'm off and running. Believe in you, you can do anything you ever thought you wanted to. Work is true and we'll see you through on the greatest of days. And I am you, she is too. On what a familiar point of view. There's work to do and we'll see you through on the greatest of days. On the greatest of days. On the greatest of days. Say, do it. I don't have my boys with me. First thing just trying to lift my head up off the bed. First thing just trying to lift my head up off the bed. First thing just trying to lift my head up off the bed. Next thing you know, I'm off and running. Yeah, I love that song. I want to get better at it. I wrote that song 6 months into my wife's pregnancy with my daughter, Marjane. And I remember waking up, being on tour, and seeing the ultrasound that my wife sent of like we could see her face. And I wrote that song like right then. It was like 6:30 in the morning. And I remember being like, man, that's going to be the greatest day when she comes. And I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. Tim, thanks for being here. Matt, Mateo, Elliot Lip. I know Elliot Lip's a killer keyboard player, man. Knoxville strong, maybe. Tennessee. But so then my son was being born. And I had a song that I wrote, but that wasn't the song for him. We actually had a miscarriage, and I had a song for that person that didn't turn into a person, which is a really good song. It still has yet to be written fully. But then, so I was like, I can't really share that. I can't really have this song that I love be for Isaac. Isaac needs a new song, you know? And I didn't think one was going to come, and he was going to be born in a couple of days. And then I was sitting like right over there, and the song came right away. And it's one of my favorite songs. And I still haven't really figured out how to sing it and play it, but I played it. Again, I played that song Greatest Days right when Marjane was born. Like she was alive for like, she had been out of her mother for 30 seconds. We were already singing her that song. She's not a big fan of music in general. If she had been down here and I started playing that, she would go, Dad, like a clock. But Isaac's song is it seems any answer can sing in notes after night, growing up, writing us lullabies, so every always remembers love. Ooh, growing up, writing us lullabies, so every always remembers love. Ooh.
anyways, it goes on. I recorded a version of it with Ryan Guay from Street Pharmacy, who's also one of my favorite songwriters of the day. Not of the day, but like of present times. We just met each other pretty recently. This music, Tim, this music is just for us tonight here. If I record an acoustic album, I try to make it much better for all of y'all. But thank you for joining me on the spot again. This is inspiring for me to practice. But what I wanted to say about that song about Isaac, which is called Always, is that it was really fun. So this song came to me is I was using an acronym to write the lyrics, and I wrote out the Isaac, Sinan, Guerilla, Searl, and I wrote the lyrics. So like, it seems. Not gonna remember. It seems any answer can sing in notes after night. So that's Isaac Sinan. And then growing up, writing earth's lullabies. So everyone always remembers love. Ooh. Growing up, writing like earth's lullabies. So everyone always remembers love. And actually my wife helped me write those lyrics now that I think about it. But that's Guerilla, which is her last name, and Searl. Growing up, writing earth's lullabies. So everyone always remembers love. And like, I know that we had those words, and the melody came with this. Growing up, writing earth's lullabies. So everyone always remembers love. Like, I had to find a way that my daughter was also going to want to hear it and sing. So like that, growing up. That's what kind of spawned the song to turn into what it did. Matt Cook, if I describe my songwriting process and how do the songs come to me, melody first, often it's through like, it comes in all sorts of different ways, to be perfectly honest. I was saying earlier that like I'll usually try to write a song that I'm thinking of, and another song will come out that ends up being a song. That is both awesome and terrible, because I always want the song that I originally sat down to write to be finished, and it's not. That always happens. But I want to say that we're deep enough into the stream now that my mom isn't listening. Not that I'm a 37-year-old man. I do what I want. But this involves like international unintentional drug smuggling and things like that. But there we go. I was going to play this song that I wrote in Ghana, and it doesn't really have international drug smuggling. That's not true. But there was like this incense that was going around for a while that people called soapium, and somehow when I was going through my toiletry bag after having malaria in Cape Coast in Ghana in this hotel, I found like a fist in my medical bag, and again, I threw it away. But I wrote the song. To play this with Panda. I know when it started, is dying as the earth began to fall. That's when I sat you down and said, this can't be all in my head. I've never been so understated, because I've always known how I want things to be. There's someone like you wants someone like me. And I'm still sitting here in shock, looking at all that I've got, and how to not just let you go. Cause when I lie next to you, it's like I'm feeling on the moonlight. And no amount of pastel is good. Shake these years from my eyes. That's when you sat me down and you said, this can't be all in my head. I never have been so frustrated, because I always know how I want things to be. Someone like you wants someone like me. And I'm still sitting here in shock, looking at all that I've got, and how to not just let you go. Whoa, I always known how I want things to be. And I understand it was left up to me. Why I looked in and I shot up everything that I had, as though I could just let you go. You know I love you. You know I love you. You know I love you. Oh, again and again. Oh, again and again. Oh, again and 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 again. Oh, Panda went. Yeah, that's a song from 2002 or 3. But why did I play that song? Because I saw it and I was talking about song processes, and that song just came in Cape Coast at the hotel with the Soapia that Dave Burness had garbage cans full of, apparently. I found out years later. Well, guys, any parents out there? Anybody got kids? What time do they wake up? This is a dream. I don't ever want to stop doing this, and that's actually the truth. Like, I would love to do this all the time. I don't want y'all to get sick of it or bored. Tell your friends, hey, thank you for getting Slowed Down. Again, Slow Down on vinyl, that just came out. I don't even have that. Like, I want that. That, again, that's a huge point of pride, that the album that we set out to make in 2005, that was like, that's again, stories for days. Like, that's a whole hour, 2 hour long story of everything that we went through to get that album made. And I don't think we ever thought we'd see it on vinyl as like a double album. It's a beautiful record, and I can't wait to have it and put it on my record player. So enjoy that. No Effects, Op Ivy Rancid. I feel like we must know each other well. You know what, man? I do have Venmo if you want to do that. Thanks for everybody who's supporting. Again, Rootfire has made this like stream, and you donate to the Rootfire artists, and all the artists get a share, which is awesome, because yeah, on the other side of things that we're all going through, yeah, we haven't worked since February, which is pretty crazy. And I do have 2 kids, and I stay home with them when I'm not on the road. And so it hasn't really kicked into me until realizing like that haven't played shows in a month, and I was supposed to be out like having a really good time, doing what I love to do. I love being a father too, and I love being home. I really cherish it in a way that I never thought I would. And I'm glad that my kids are young enough right now that they want to be home with their parents, and they're not, like, again, everybody's in a different situation. I feel it for anybody who's got, I don't know, maybe your teenagers are loving being home. But if I was a teenager in quarantine, that would not have been fun, man. Yeah, Mateo, I'll get that on vinyl, man. I'll order 2 of them, and I'll get one up to you when I come and visit you. But yeah, I do have a Venmo. It's Searl Jam, SEARLJAM, I think. But man, I got a place to be. We're safe. Everything cool here. And slow down and music. Again, I'd like to do this again, so I don't want to tell all my stories and play all my songs. I have a lot more songs and I have a lot more stories, and I, again, could just do this forever. I think I'm gonna play like 1 or 2 more songs, and then I'm gonna go to bed because my kids do get up at 6 a.m. and I like burning the night candle all night, actually, but I've been doing that and should probably be a responsible father. I'm trying to think if there's any really fun songs. Thank you guys. Dude, bless up from Thailand. Joseph Ripley, what up? You're in the future. Wow. Amazing. This internet. Let's burn some incense. Let's burn some Palo Santo. Am I saying that wrong? Why do I always think I'm saying that wrong? Joseph Ripley, big up yourself. I want to go to Thailand someday. Never been. Always wanted to go. Yeah, get it. If you want your Palo Santo to burn right, you got to get a big flame. Blow it out. Tim, for you, I'll play Seasons Change. I don't do Seasons Change acoustic. I don't know what to do. So Season Change started with this riff. Forever. Oh, seasons change. Times get rough again. Oh, I got to pick up and put on the hat, stand up and get up again. Weather change. All the times they slow up again. I gotta get yourself out the better way you solo from your cup again. Oh, I can feel it coming when the rhythm gets slow. I try to warn ya. I feel it coming when you start to go. I can't control ya. Oh, I feel it coming when the rhythm gets slow. I try to warn ya. I tried to warn ya. Oh, I tried to warn ya. Wrap it up is here to stay. I won't fake it, no way. Only way to come down that road, do it this way. Do it this way. A freezing shame. The lions get cut again, cut. I got to pick up and put on your hand and think up, darling. Get tough again. The weather change. All the times they slow up again. I get tough, I got to come in. But when the rhythm it gets slow, you know I tried to warn ya. Feel it coming when the rhythm gets slow. I tried to warn ya. Coming when the rhythm slow. I tried to warn ya, rap it up is here to stay. I won't fake it, no way. Only way to come down that road, do it this way. Hey, 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 hey. Do it this way, yeah. Rap it up is here to stay. I won't fake it, no way. Only way to come down that road, do it this way, yeah, yeah. Rise and shine, it's a beautiful day. Get up out of bed, Jesus skanking all the way. I'll burn the Cali up because they help I meditate. Through tough times, I'm still feeling great. Thanks to the blessing and the blessing of the day. See, life is a gift if you live it right way. But Rasta can't control you, it's your role, it's your way. And this love is here to stay. Through seasons change. And the times they're gonna come up again. The times they're gonna come up again. Are people coming when you're coming to come up again? I'm gonna see you in the music and rise up again. We've been through this so many ways and in so many days. I can feel it coming when the rhythm gets slow, gets slow, gets slow. Get slow. Yeah, you know what, man? I've done that a long time ago. Acoustic. Yeah, tried to warn you, bro. We tried to warn you. Long time. It's an old song. Wrote that on Hickory Street in Rochester, New York, in the South Wedge, on the floor. It was cold. It was winter. Big thing about playing reggae in Rochester is that you have these tube amps and it's warm. You know, like you're in the living room with all your homies, and you got incense and the amps are on. The tube amps are on. That's warming the whole house. And then you get into those circular rhythms, and then you're warm. And that's how we stay warm in Rochester and in Indiana. Isn't that right? Yeah, man. Irie vibes, man. I'm gonna do one more, maybe two more songs. Yeah. All time. I take all I can, but I don't believe when it's gone. Oh, I'm only a man trying to live up and learn right from wrong. Sometimes you can't see the light, but you know that it's there all along. Oh, I try to look for the space and the time and the place where we're gone. Oh. All time, I take all I can, and I never will know where it's from. Oh, I'm only a man trying to live up and learn when I'm done. Sometimes you can't see the light, but you know that you want from the sun. I try to look for the space and the time and the place where we're going. Oh, and I'm on your side whenever the past may haunt you. I'm on your side. side whenever the past may haunt you. I'm on your side whenever the path may haunt you. I'm on your side whenever the past may haunt you. I'm on your side. I love that song. To be honest, that's the kind of song that, like, I'm on your side whenever the path may haunt you. I'm on your side whenever the past may haunt you. That's the part that I want to play for the whole time, but you can only have it a little bit. It's that thing. It's that thing. Two more songs. Song's going back to New England, 2008, before it all happened. So it was actually happening. Whoa, yeah, all right. Do you believe me? Yeah. I get rich, I get wealthy. Are we doing the best that we can to make sure that our families stay healthy? Suppose that it's better to give over thanks for the hands that were dealt. But it's this emptiness that I can sense in your faces, remaining a strong possibility that this aggravational time is wearing me thin. And I'm losing faith in all the best places that I've been. I get sick, I get healthy. Are we doing the best that we can to make sure the demand is not to be wealthy? Suppose that it's better than being locked up in the backyard chasing medicine. Got friends that I don't see no more because they're too busy filling their prescriptions. In this aggravational time, it's wearing me thin. Oh, and I'm losing faith in all the best places that I've been. Started off with the best of intentions. All in all, just the next best explosion. Alright, I get sick, I get well again. Are we doing the best that we can to make sure that we're not gonna lose our heads again? Now it's starting to get kinda harder to turn up, anything's gonna sell again. Sooner or later, but probably sooner we'll all feel the swell again. It's sick not to inform and rhyming about fact. A fish left in the sun may get his bone picked up by the birds, the cats say. Suppose it's better to give up things than that would help, but it's just them things like concentric invasions pulling my wing gravity in this aggravational time, wearing me thin. Oh, and I'm losing faith in all the best places that I've been. Started off with the best of intentions. All in all, just the next best explosion. War right now. Yeah, it is a dark tune, you know, but happy 420. Because that ganja is going to keep you healthy, man. It's not going to do. Yeah, that song's about opiates and nuclear explosions. What are you going to do? Not opiates. That's what we're not going to do. But big up, man. Again, like, I'm not going to play Mr. Cop because it's not that fun when I play it. Because I'm like, do I even know that song? It's one of those vibes, right? Mr. Cop, Mr. Cop, don't want you searching. Oh, we've been all day working. Nobody now we hurting. Whoa, Mr. Cop, don't want you searching. Oh, we've been all day working. A little herb that we're smoking. Yeah, we've been all day working. Just a little herb that we're smoking. Whoa, right, they're calling up the cops 'cause it smells like ganja. Whoa, they're calling up the cops 'cause it smells like ganja. Yeah, 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 yeah. They're breaking up the party 'cause it smells like ganja. Oh, they're breaking up the party 'cause it smells like ganja. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mr. Cop, don't want you searching. Oh, we've been all day working. Nobody now we hurting. No, no. Mr. Cop, don't want you searching. Oh, we've been all day working. Nobody now we hurting. Oh, we've been all day working. Just a little herb now we're smoking. Ganja is still very illegal in Indiana. Very illegal. And like 5 miles from here in Michigan, it's an essential. It's essential. So the dispensary Relief, which I haven't been to, but maybe we'll check out sometime, is open and doing old school drug deal. Like you pull your car up, they come to the car and ask you what you want. Then they go get it and bring it back up to the car. I don't know about you guys, but that's old school. Yeah, cheers, guys. Cheers. Man, that song, Dylan pioneered that song on the road, you know? And unfortunately, that was like I just associate with a lot of anxiety, you know, of just like driving through states where shit is illegal, you know, and we're just working, like we're just going to work, you know, we're driving to a show, and whether we have ganja on us or not, and we would get stopped by police, they would always ask, and you got to be at that like, oh, what do we do? Do we tell the truth? Do we lie? Like, what are, you know, it didn't really work out that well. So that was just the honest argument. That's not really so much like, it feels like it's a big ganja tune, but it's a big like justice tune. Like, it's like, yo, they're calling up the cops because it smells like ganja. People are going to jail. People are possibly dying and getting sick with COVID in prison for being marijuana offenders. People that we know, you know, like we're thinking about them. Yeah, it's a great song, man. Oh, favorite song. That is my favorite song. Favorite song. All day working, bro. All day working. It don't stop. Injustice for All. Yeah. How about that? Y'all like that Metallica album, Injustice for All? Fun fact about Make It Better. It's recorded in the same studio that Metallica's first album, Kill 'Em All, is recorded in. And the first time that I ever knew what a bass guitar was because Cliff Burton plays a bass solo on Kill 'Em All. And my friend in the 5th grade, Eric Reddy, had that. And he's like, this is the bass solo. I'm like, what's a bass? And he's like, this. And he had a bass. And I'd never seen a bass. I thought it was a guitar. And then we got to record that album in that same studio where Cliff recorded that bass solo, which for me, it's pretty epic. The more you know. Exactly, Kenneth. And Justice for All, though, is the first album of Metallica's where Jason Newsted recorded bass after Cliff had passed away. And they took the bass off of the album and released it without bass as a joke, like is like a frat guy. Like, hey, you recorded all this bass and we're not even going to put it on the album. Love to hear that album with some bass. Probably sick. Yeah, anyways, I grew up listening to Metallica. I'm not really a fan anymore. There's some music, like a lot of heavy music I still love and listen to. There's some that like lost its, like I love Pantera. I really loved Pantera and listened to them so much. And I put them on like a year ago and was like, this is just like sterile, angry music. It's not good. It doesn't make me feel good. That's me personally. Whereas like I'll put on Evil Empire, Rage Against the Machine, and that still cuts like the minute it came out. Like that shit is so real. Love Slayer. Slayer, like Rain and Blood, is still good. Like it's still like music I like to listen to. I don't know if it's something about like the recording style. I love Sepultura. You know, I like. I went to, when I was in Ghana. I wrote about this on a Rootfire piece because I do some writing for Rootfire. I haven't done some in a while, but I have some articles under my name, Samaj Surreal. And I wrote about how like there would be like live dance hall bands playing out of sound systems in Ghana. And that would be like the same energy as like the hardcore shows I had seen in Rochester and Buffalo. It's like the same young people, like young people wanting to move, wanting to groove, you know. So there's not a whole lot. There's a lot of similarities between reggae and like super groove hardcore, which is why I love the band Dub Trio, because they know that and they've shown that and bring it together. Yeah, y'all. Toxic City. I don't watch Bald and Bankrupt. I've never seen that. I have no idea what that could be. System of a Down. I've never listened to those guys. I feel like I stopped listening to like heavy music in like 1997, which also coincides when I saw Fish on December 11th, 97 at the War Memorial. Lame answer, but that really changed my direction of music. And my cousin ZPD has an awesome story about going to his first Grateful Dead concert. I don't want to like blow up his spot and tell it unless I get like approval to tell it, but it's a great story. I think I'm gonna play one more tune for you guys. It's not somebody I feel like said something. I love Rage. I should give System a chance. And they're like Armenian Americans, dude, right? They're like political guys kind of. Salute. What up, Steve Sparks? OB, man. We had a good time at Winston's. That was like one of the last things that we did. And we were on tour with this guy who was selling our merch named Brock, who was super cool. And he taught me about the like Bloody Mary with the beer, like, which sounds like something I usually wouldn't be into, but happened to be delicious. And we asked the bartender at Winston's, where do you get the best one of these drinks that I can't remember the name of? And she's like, me, I make it right here. And we enjoyed a couple of them, and it was delicious. And I love OB. Okay, yes, Matt, can I tell the story about your first Grateful Dead show? ZPD is my cousin. He's also the closest family member living near me, and we live near each other, which is really awesome. And even if we don't get to see each other that much, he still makes me feel good. Our grandparents would be stoked. Okay. So my cousin was like, Matt, I'm pretty sure, pardon me if I get this wrong, my cousin in the 80s was like, if you had a jean jacket and you wanted the dope shit on the back, like someone to draw like the sick Iron Maiden album cover, or like, you know, really badass metal stuff, if you wanted that on your denim, then Matt was the artist that would do that for you in Rochester. Yes, a michelada, Tim. Those are delicious. Wish I had one right now. So Matt was the guy that would like do the artwork on the back of the jean jackets, and I sort of remember that from being like a little kid. And like seeing he had dope jean jackets. And then, but what he said is that he saw that there was a band coming to town called the Grateful Dead. And he was like, told all of his metal buddies, he's like, yo, there's this band coming in town. They're called the Grateful Dead. They must be like the wickedest hardcore band. They have all these skulls like in their artwork and stuff. And he said that him and his buddies went to the War Memorial and like all their leather and like jean jacket, like metal show gear, and like were surrounded by tie-dye shirts and like hippies. And like from then on, he was like a deadhead. It's very similar to my Fish story. Not that I wasn't like I wasn't stylish in the way that Matt was, or I wasn't like that invested in like the metal aesthetic in the 97 when I saw Fish, but it was similar. I was like super into heavy music, and I saw these guys play, and I was like, whoa, they're having more fun than anybody. I want to do that. Well, you guys, I'm going to play one more tune, and then I'm going to call it a night and do this again sometime, because this is a lot of fun. Man, we've been doing this for like almost 4 hours. This is wild. And, you know, solid crew. Nice. I'm glad I got the story right. I'm trying to think of a good tune to go out on. Okay, so Matt and I have this common relative named Isaac Searl, and my son is named after him. And we have a family reunion pretty often. And he was born in 1797, and I was trying to think of like songs that were hits when he was born to play at the family reunion. And I found this one, and I'm gonna see if I can remember it. And this is one that I'd love to have Aaron Lip at my house. Max, any of those guys, you know, any of those real pickers of old tunes. I love those guys. Kind of, you're funny. Meet me in the moonlight, meet me in the moonlight alone. I have a sad story to tell you. All down by the moonlight alone. I've always loved you, my darling. Told you I'll always be true. I'd do anything just to please you, and I'd die any day just for you. So meet me in the moonlight, meet me in the moonlight alone. I have a sad story to tell you. Down by the moonlight alone. Down by the moonlight alone. I had a ship on the ocean, all covered in silver and gold. Before my little darling shall suffer, well, I'd have that ship anchored and sold. So meet me in the moonlight, meet me in the moonlight alone. I have a sad story to tell you. All down by the moonlight alone. All down by the moonlight alone. All down by the moonlight alone. Down by the moonlight alone. If I had wings of an angel, over these prison walls I'd fly. I'd fly to the arms of my darling. And there I'd be willing to die. So meet me in the moonlight, meet me in the moonlight alone. I have a sad story to tell you. Down by the moonlight alone. Down by the moonlight alone. Yeah. It was the funk, man, that 97 funk. Yeah, that's right, Matt. L-Dub, nice to meet you. Hope we get to hang sometime at a show. Thank you. This is going to be the last one. I figured all that was being said. First time I heard this song, first time, good night, Kenneth. Love you guys. First time I heard this song was in Oswego in 1999. Well, so we go. I thought my man Trey was going to die. I'd never seen anybody look like that on stage. I don't know what was going on with him. Like, Is this guy gonna die? I'll start playing. Have mercy on a good man and help him, we pray. Have mercy on a good girl and help her, we pray. Man was made to suffer. Oh, woman was made to feel the pain. Stay by our side and help us, we pray. Give us all of your blessings. LW, love you. Help us, cheers, we pray. Time is running out. Many no one, not to cry, no shout. Stay by our side and help us, we pray. Masood, my brother, you're still here. Give us all of your blessings. Please, love to the family, Masood. Love to the family. Congratulations to Rabina. Thank you for taking care of my parents. On a good man and guide us, we pray. Have mercy on a good man and guide us, we pray. Well, y'all, I plan on doing this for an hour and then watching devs and drinking a beer, but now it's 1:15 and it's crazy to think that I'm going to shut this off and be alone in my basement, because it didn't feel like I was alone in my basement the whole time. Felt like I was hanging out with y'all, and I really appreciate it. We're linked for life now. The 20 so folks, Tim, Matt, all y'all. Thank you guys very, very much. Thank you, Eric. Oh man, thank y'all. Hey, I'll do this again sometime. It'll be even better. We'll have better songs, better stories. Man, I love y'all. I really appreciate it. And thank you to Rootfire. Thank you for, please check out all the Rootfire streams that are being done. Man like Devin did one last night. Roger did one. Drummer Chris did one. It's just like, it's really cool. These are some of my favorite musicians, and it's just been incredible to like see what everyone does. These are all really special people, you know? So give thanks, and here's to the future. Cheers, peace and love. I'm out. Y'all are top notch forever. Peace.